Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Chapter 21 Arrival on Earth. Vegeta was very excited. As soon as he saw Lewis, he spoke out his frustration. It started with Vegeta's escape from Star, and ended with Frieza's army preventing the three of them from returning to the galactic headquarters. Finally, out of desperation, he, Raditz and Nappa chose to come to Earth to seek help. After hearing everything, Lewis finally understood why Vegeta appeared on Earth. The historical correction is really awesome. Vegeta still came to Earth and trained in heaven with Son Goku. Lewis, our Vegeta planet was destroyed by Frieza, you have to avenge us Saiyans. Vegeta clenched his fists and shouted. Okay, I know about the Vegeta Star incident. You guys can take revenge. I won't interfere. Lewis waved his hand. Aren't you the candidate gods of destruction? You can kill Frieza with just a flick of your finger, why don't you take action? Vegeta yelled. King Vegeta asked Lewis the same question back then, and Lewis coldly rejected King Vegeta's request. But now, I can kill Frieza, but are you willing to let me do it? Lewis said calmly. This time, Lewis did not coldly reject Vegeta's request. Because after the Saiyan joined the Galactic Patrol, things became different. Those vicious and evil Saiyans who burned, killed and looted actually became the guardians of the universe. This is becoming the same as the Sarada Defense Force in Universe 6. Vegeta fell silent. Lewis asked again, do you still want me to take action? If you let me take action, I will do it immediately. Lewis glanced at Vegeta and Son Goku, then said, I will go and avenge our Saiyan clan immediately. Never mind. Vegeta's poker face actually showed a smile, just let us do it. Vegeta is the prince of the Saiyan clan, a proud Saiyan. Facing the enemies of his tribe, he would not be willing to ask the alternate gods of destruction for help, and he wanted to take revenge with his own hands. Kakarot, do you want to come with me to seek revenge? Vegeta looked at Son Goku who was in a daze. If it were in the past, he would not have the confidence to say this, after all, Frieza is the emperor of the universe. But after coming to Earth, he became confident. The cultivation methods of the Earth, and those gravity chambers. Besides this, there is one most important person, and that is Son Goku in front of us. Okay, I'll go with you then. Son Goku touched his head and smiled innocently. You fool. Vegeta looked at the innocent Son Goku and felt both angry and amused. Lewis was also amused by Son Goku's personality. Vegeta has changed, but Son Goku is still Son Goku. Fine. Lewis suddenly asked, when are you going to take revenge? Son Goku looks towards Vegeta. Vegeta frowned and said, give it another 2 years. In 2 years, Kakarot and I will surely be stronger than Frieza. Well, then I will be there in person to watch you take revenge. Lewis failed to alert Vegeta to Frieza's true power. After all, how can you transform into a Super Saiyan without encountering some hardships? Lewis took Taiza's hand and prepared to turn around and leave, but suddenly remembered something and said, do you two want to go to another place to learn 2 powerful secret techniques? What secret technique? Son Goku questions. Kaioken and Spirit Bomb. Lewis said slowly, if you want to learn, I can let King Kai teach you. Good. Vegeta nodded in agreement. For a secret technique to be highly regarded by a candidate gods of destruction, it must have some special features. Son Goku smiled and said, well, I want to learn it too. The two agreed that Lewis did not take them to King Kai the first time. First of all, in his observation, Vegeta's combat power is only 70,000, and Son Goku is about 80,000. Vegeta is still the second in command after all. Secondly, the two of them have not yet practiced enough in martial arts. Especially Son Goku. Lewis accepted Whis' instruction and could tell at a glance that Son Goku's martial arts foundation was inadequate. Only if Son Goku fully accepts that man's teachings will he have the opportunity to enter the ultimate state at the future tournament of power. As for that person, Lewis was talking about Popovich. Lewis suspected that Bobo might belong to the Angel clan. After all, in the eyes of others, Bobo had been serving the gods of the earth for a long time. In addition to this, the actions displayed by Bobo are also very similar to Angel. No sadness, no joy, no desire, no demand. When training Son Goku as a child, it was a 50-50 chance. When training Son Goten and Trunks transformed Super Saiyan, they were equally matched. Finally, Lewis did not disturb Bobo for the time being. He took Tazy away and let the 4 Saiyans continue to practice in the heaven. Lewis, what happened there just now? That's the heaven I mentioned. It's where the gods of the earth live. There are gods on Earth. How come I didn't know that? You're not the only one who doesn't know. Many people on Earth don't know either. Also, you've been staying in the universe, so you have no chance of knowing this. That's true. The two flew all the way back to Exodus. Time flies and another year has passed. During this year, Louis stayed at Tai's house. Louis was very handsome and he was quickly recognized by Bulma. As for the Briefs couple, they didn't have any objections to Louis. Instead, they thought it was a good idea. Tai's now has a husband, and he should be able to control her. After all, it is too dangerous to let a woman enter the universe alone. But Louis said that he would always protect Taisy and let Taisy do whatever she wanted. Bulma doesn't think that Louis, with his frail body, can protect Tai's from harm in the universe. Unless you have the power of Son Goku and Vegeta. Until Tai's revealed Louis's identity and asked Louis to show off his skills. After Louis destroyed the planet not far from the Earth, Bulma realized that she had made a mistake. She did not expect Louis to have such a noble identity and such powerful power. Now Bulma and her family believe that Louis can protect Tai's well. Chapter 22 Kaioken, Spirit Bomb. 1 year later, in heaven. Louis came here alone, and among the 4 gravity rooms, only 3 were still occupied. Son Goku sat cross-legged in the center of the temple square. Greetings, Mr. Candidate Gods of Destruction. The god came over and said respectfully. During this year, he also learned Louis's identity. No need to be so polite. Yes. How long has Kakarot been meditating? Son Goku has been meditating for half a year. The god thought about it. Half a year. Louis stroked his chin and looked at the other 3 gravity rooms. It is obvious that Vegeta and his 2 companions and Son Goku have different training methods. One is to meditate and comprehend martial arts, and the other is to use the gravity room to cultivate strength. Teach students in accordance with their aptitude. Louis looked at the interior of the temple meaningfully. It seemed to be the Popo cults. Then I'll come back later. You can let me know when Kakarot wakes up. Louis prepares to leave the heavens. Sudden, an extremely faint ethereal aura emanated from Son Goku, and then disappeared. Is this laying a solid foundation for ultimate freedom? Louis looked at Son Goku in the center of the temple square and raised his eyebrows slightly. Son Goku's current condition is exactly the same as when he was practicing the free state. But unlike Son Goku, Louis was rewarded with the prototype of the state of freedom by the system, and then he practiced for another 4 years before he reached the perfect state of freedom. Son Goku is truly worthy of being the protagonist of Dragon Ball, his talent is truly extraordinary. In addition, Louis also confirmed his own thoughts, that Bobo is indeed not an ordinary person. Son Goku stood up, walked to Louis, and said with a smile, "Louis, why are you here? Have you forgotten what I told you? You mean to learn Kaioken?" Son Goku is delighted. Go get Vegeta out. What about Raditz and Nappa? If they don't have the talent, there's no need to call them. Just go ahead. Hearing this, Son Goku nodded and didn't say anything more. Son Goku calls Vegeta out, and Vegeta also looks delighted, as a substitute for Kaioken, who is highly regarded by the gods of destruction. That must be awesome. Louis took the 2 of them and disappeared directly into the heaven. King Kai Star is located in the underworld. If you are an ordinary person, you will never be able to find where the underworld is. But Louis is different, he is the candidate gods of destruction, and his dimension has reached the King Kai level, so he naturally knows where the underworld is. Louis took Son Goku and the other person across the barrier between the human world and arrived in front of the Hades palace in the underworld. Stop! A ghost guard from the King of Hell's palace stood up. You are mortals. How dare mortals break into the underworld? Come on, send them back to the mortal world. Before he could finish, a sound of fear came from the King of Hell's hall. Which king of the world has descended upon Hades' palace? A huge bull head that looked very similar to Ox King ran out, with a panicked look on its face. However, he soon discovered that the people who came were not the 5 kings of the realms he was familiar with, but a young man who was at the same level as the kings of the realms, and 2 mortals. You must be the King of Hell, right? I have something to do with King Kai, so don't bother me if you have nothing else. Louis said calmly before taking Son Goku and the other 2 flying towards the snake path. The King of Hell on the spot didn't dare to speak, and he was wondering in his heart who this new king of the realm was. Son Goku and Vegeta remained silent throughout the entire journey on the Snake Road. Hey, Vegeta, why are so many people afraid of Louis? Nonsense, who isn't afraid of the alternate gods of destruction? Are the candidate gods of destruction strong? One finger can kill you, do you think it's strong? Lewis, is what Vegeta said true? Son Goku looked at Lewis with shining eyes. The corner of Lewis's mouth twitched slightly. You fool, you don't want to duel with me, do you? Seeing that Lewis didn't speak, Son Goku said, Lewis, can you fight with me? Cannot. Lewis started talking directly, and after that, he disliked the slow speed, grabbed Son Goku and disappeared directly on the snake path. The next second, he appeared at the end of the snake path. There was a very small planet hovering above the end of the snake path. Walk. Lewis took the two of them and flew to the King Kai planet. The moment you land, ho ho ho. A gorilla appeared in front of the three people. Barbalus, stop bothering me. Lewis couldn't recognize who it was, so he slapped it away. Son Goku and Vegeta swallowed, what a rude guy. King Kai, come out. Lewis's voice spread throughout the King Kai star. King Kai, who was sleeping on the back of King Kai star, opened his eyes instantly. Who is it? How dare you disturb King Kai's sleep? King Kai was full of anger and ran for a minute before finally coming in front of Lewis. Who are you? You don't know how to disturb someone. Hiss. King Kai suddenly took a breath and looked at Lewis. Who are you? Why is your dimension so high? Two more mortals. King Kai's eyes widened immediately. What happened today? Why would a strange god from the Kai King dimension come here? Well, King Kai, I'm here to ask you to teach them both Kaioken and Spirit Bomb. How do you know I know these two special skills? And who are you? King Kai frowned. Stop talking nonsense and just teach me if I ask you to. Lewis said unhappily. You can let me teach you, but you have to tell me a joke. King Kai was very confused about Lewis's identity. When did another King Kai appear? And the other party brought two mortals here just to ask him to teach them Kaioken and Spirit Bomb. However, the aura of the King Kai in front of him is not evil, so it is not impossible to teach him. Quote. Lewis had two black lines on his forehead. Is he telling a joke again? King Kai, do you recognize this thing? Lewis raised his hand, and a purple energy appeared in his hand. Suddenly, the wind was blowing so hard that the entire King Kai planet was shaking. Son Goku and Vegeta were shocked when they saw this. Faced with this force, they had no intention of resisting. It was obvious that if they were hit, they would not survive. Son Goku and Vegeta looked at each other. This Lewis is too scary. How could you destroy energy? King Kai was shocked. The scene of Beerus destroying his planet was still vivid in his mind. Could it be that Lord Beerus is dead? King Kai's face turned pale, and he kept swallowing his saliva, shaking with fear. Beerus, who was far away in the world of gods of destruction, suddenly sneezed. Who was saying bad things about him? If Lord Beerus knew you said that about him, do you think you could still keep your King Kai star? Master Beerus is really not dead. King Kai crawled on the ground, as if protecting his King Kai planet, and said in a trembling voice, No. No, this is my last planet. Okay, I'm not interested in your King Kai star. Just teach them two to me. Lewis dissipated the destructive energy in his hand. Since Lord Beerus is not dead, you must be the current candidate gods of destruction. King Kai stood up from the ground, shocked. Be good. That lazy B*************** D actually accepted a disciple. Lewis spoke up. King Kai, is everything okay? King Kai didn't dare to object and swallowed his saliva. Don't worry, Mr. Candidate Gods of Destruction, I will definitely teach them well. Okay, then I'll leave them to you. Lewis turned and looked at Son Goku and the others. Just focus on your training, I'm leaving now, I'll come pick you up in a year. When Lewis was about to leave, he turned around and continued, by the way, Spirit Bomb may not be suitable for everyone. It doesn't matter if you can't learn it. You just need to learn Kaioken. Before they can transform into Super Saiyan, Kaioken is their most useful move. As for the Spirit Bomb, it seems that only people with a pure heart can learn it. Not everyone can learn the Spirit Bomb. Lewis is giving Vegeta a shot of prevention so that he won't collapse when he can't learn it. After Lewis finished speaking, he left. Chapter 23 Encouraging Lewis. Lewis returned to Earth, and he and Tais stayed together. Lewis soon received a message from Whis, asking him to take Tais back to cook. But how could Lewis agree? Lewis joked that since Thais was his woman, he should not let her cook anymore. This made Whis and Beerus roll their eyes. What a b asterisk 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 d who values women over his teacher. At this time, Tazy suggested that they just let Beerus and the other person come to Earth. Because her cooking skills are nothing on Earth, there are many people who cook better than her. When Beerus and Whis heard this, their eyes lit up. But there was something that bound them up, so they had to postpone their plan to go to Earth. Lewis asked them, but they didn't say why. Gods of Destruction World. Beerus and Whis stood in front of the Gods of Destruction Palace, looking up at the sky. Lord Beerus, are you really not going to tell Lewis about the other universe's candidate Gods of Destruction coming to the 7th universe? What's the point of telling him? Don't forget that those guys are here to discuss me. Just because I accepted a candidate for Gods of Destruction, they followed suit. Beerus gnashed his teeth and said, they will definitely recruit some people whose power has reached the level of God. With Lewis's 1.5 billion combat power, even if he transforms into a Super Saiyan, it will be useless. It's disgusting just thinking about it. Whis laughed and said, who made Lord Beerus so unpopular? Every god of destruction in the universe wants to mock you. Even your brother wants to come over and mock you. Humph, wait 2 more years and see who laughs at whom. Well, with Lewis's physique, no one can defeat him. Maybe you can taunt him back, Lord Beerus. Whis laughed. Beerus' eyes lit up. Yes, the other universe's candidate Gods of Destruction's power must be at the level of God. If they fight with Lewis and can't beat him, then I can just taunt them back. Lewis currently only has 1.5 billion combat power. But with just 1.5 billion combat power, he can't even defeat Whis, let alone the other universe's candidate Gods of Destruction who can defeat Lewis. Fortunately, Whis didn't know what Beerus was thinking, otherwise he would definitely say, let alone me, even if it was my father, there would be no way. Beerus laughed crazily, let's go to Earth first. Those guys will definitely come to Earth to find me. Gurgle. Whis swallowed his saliva, his eyes sparkled and he said, great, Tazy said there are still many delicious foods on Earth. I feel relieved now. Then hurry up and go. Northern Galaxy, Frieza Headquarters. Hateful. A sharp and sinister voice spread throughout the Frieza headquarters. All the universe people in the hall didn't dare to say a word, for fear of offending the universe emperor on the rocking car. Frieza crushed the wine glass in his hand and said through gritted teeth, damn Galactic Patrol, why are you going against me? Frieza didn't know why Saiyan joined the Galactic Patrol. Frieza only knew that Saiyan betrayed him. What he hated most in his life was betrayal. So Frieza has been letting the Frieza Corps hunt down Saiyan. It was somewhat effective at first, killing more than a dozen Saiyans. But later, Saiyan learned his lesson and when he encountered Frieza's army, he fled back to the Galactic Patrol headquarters. The Galactic Patrol headquarters was a place that even Frieza didn't dare to enter. Plus the incident 4 years ago when the alternate Gods of Destruction invaded his headquarters. Frieza doesn't dare to chase Saiyan anymore. Saiyan has become increasingly powerful over the past decade. Especially Bardock, his fighting power is even greater than Ginyu's. If he doesn't take action, no one in the Frieza Corps will be able to restrain Saiyan. But he also has to consider the alternate Gods of Destruction. At this time, King Frieza, I heard a legend. A universe person walked into the palace and hurried to Frieza. King Frieza, I heard a legend about immortality. Frieza, who was furious, heard this and his expression suddenly changed. Hurry up and tell me. While I was on a mission, I heard an ancient race say that if you find the legendary Dragon Ball, you can make any wish come true. If any wish is granted, it means that not only can a person achieve immortality but also gain powerful strength. If the ancient race didn't lie, then yes. Come on, where is Dragon Ball? Frieza's face lit up with joy. The universe man wiped the sweat off his face and said, King Frieza, I only heard about this. I don't know where the Dragon Ball is. As soon as these words were spoken, a cold murderous aura instantly filled the palace. Find it for me. You must find out where Dragon Ball is. As long as I gain immortality and great power, I will break into the Galactic Patrol headquarters. Earth. Lewis was lying in Tyza's backyard, drinking a drink and enjoying life. Tyza's not here. She and Bulma went shopping. After all, the two sisters haven't seen each other for many years. Deep sisterly love. Now they stick together every day. At this time, a colorful stream of light appeared in front of Lewis. Boy, life is so comfortable. Hey, isn't this my Lord Beerus? Lewis opened his eyes and smiled. Aren't you busy? I asked you to come to Earth but you didn't come. Why are you here again now? His tone was full of teasing. Beerus gritted his teeth. This brat. Beerus rolled his eyes and said jokingly, boy, there is good news and bad news, which one do you want to hear? Whis covered his mouth and laughed secretly. Lewis closed his eyes. Lord Beerus, I don't want to hear it. Quote. Two black lines crossed Beerus' forehead and Whis just laughed out loud. You have to listen even if you don't want to. Beerus snorted, the good news is, you're going to be successful. Question mark. Lewis raised his eyebrows, then opened his eyes and said, what about the bad news? The bad news is that you're going to have to fight with the alternate gods of destruction from other universes. What? Lewis shot up from the beach chair and stared at Beerus. He finally understood what Beerus meant by standing out. This is to have him fight against the alternate gods of destruction from other universes, and with his immunity, he will naturally not lose. This way he became famous in Xeno universe. Lord Beerus, you have a very good plan. Haha, that's a nice day. Beerus whistled and looked up at the sky. The corner of Lewis's mouth twitched slightly. The reason why he said Beerus had a good plan was because if he fought with other gods of destruction, he would be invincible. In this way, Beerus could taunt back harshly, saying that a master at the level of a god could not even beat a mortal. Beerus doesn't care about attracting hatred at all. After all, he is hated by all the gods of destruction, and he doesn't need to care if others hate him more. But Beerus is trying to drag him into this. Okay, little brat, I'm your master, just tell me whether you will help me or not. Beerus patted Lewis's shoulder and said without blushing or panting. Help, can't I help? Lewis gritted his teeth. Lewis looked angry on the surface, but he was calm inside. As the saying goes, one rises and one withers, he and the seventh universe have been bound together for a long time. Besides, in Lewis's eyes, Beerus and Whis are both teachers and friends. Beerus wanted to taunt back, and Lewis would naturally help him. Lewis's mouth curled up slightly. He was looking forward to fighting with other substitute gods of destruction. Sudden. Lewis frowned and said, Lord Beerus, except for the 11th universe, what other universes have candidate gods of destruction? Whis finally spoke, laughing, ha ha ha, back when Lord Beerus accepted you as a candidate gods of destruction, the other gods of destruction followed suit. Lewis covered his eyes. He finally realized how unpopular Beerus was, and that others had already been prepared, just waiting to ridicule him, Beerus. Beerus touched his head, feeling a little embarrassed. He didn't expect that he would have to ask his heir to help him regain his face. Well, Master Beerus, when are they coming to the 7th universe? 1 year later. A year later. Yeah, what's the matter? What's the matter? Beerus looked at Lewis in confusion. Lewis shook his head. Vegeta and Son Goku went to King Kai to learn Kaioken, and he will come back to pick them up in a year. Also a year later, the two men prepared to seek revenge on Frieza. Unexpectedly, the candidate gods of destruction from other universes would come to the 7th universe a year later. There is a bit of a time conflict. In the end, Lewis didn't say much, and Beerus and Whis settled down on Earth. When Beerus and his companion arrived on Earth, they quickly discovered that Tazy was right. The Earth is a food paradise. Even any random street snack was a delicacy that the two of them had never eaten before. Beerus and Whis wondered why this planet wasn't discovered earlier. In addition to delicious food, Beerus and Whis soon discovered that there was a very special place on Earth. In the northern part of the Earth stands a stone tower that reaches into the clouds, and above the tower there is a mysterious heaven. The two went up to heaven once, but did not find anything wrong. I only know that the heaven and the stone tower are very old. In the end, Beerus and Whis had to let it go. Chapter 24 Son Goku and his partner learn Kaioken. Beerus and his partner immersed themselves in the world of food, while Lewis began to practice. This was his first time practicing since leaving the Gods of Destruction world, and he still focused on 3 aspects of his practice: power, dimensions and rules. In terms of strength, his current strength is measured by combat power, and before his transformation, he had 1.5 billion combat power, and after transforming into a Super Saiyan he has 75 billion combat power. In the other dimension, he is at the level of King Kai. According to the rules, he can only condense destructive energy the size of his fist. It is extremely unrealistic to achieve breakthroughs in all 3 aspects within a year unless there is a system reward. The system did not issue any sign in tasks, so Lewis could only work hard on one aspect and strive to make a breakthrough in a year. As for where to work hard, Lewis thought about it and felt that it would be better to work hard on the dimension. Here are a few reasons. First, in terms of strength, Lewis has reached the bottleneck at this stage and it is difficult to improve further. Even if it can be improved further, it won't be much, unless it breaks through to Super Saiyan 2. In this way, the original strength can be increased 100 times, which means 150 billion combat power. But don't forget that Lewis has just broken through Super Saiyan 1 not long ago. It is unrealistic to want to make further breakthroughs. This is also the reason why Lewis did not choose to practice after coming out of the Gods of Destruction world, but stayed with Tazy. Second, in terms of breaking the rules, how big a destructive energy bomb he can condense depends on the strength of his own power. The size of the container determines how much water it can hold. The limit for Lewis to be able to condense a fist-sized destructive energy bomb is already his limit. It is simply impossible to condense a larger destructive energy bomb. Don't forget that the other candidates for Gods of Destruction who come with power will also break the rules. Even if Lewis could condense his destructive energy to a greater extent, he could not compare with others who had practiced the destructive rules for thousands of years. Third, the dimension is different from the previous two. Lewis's current dimension has reached the King of the Realm level. Another breakthrough will lead to the God level. The Divine level is the dimension in which the Gods of Destruction and Supreme Kai exist. Once Lewis breaks through to the Divine level, his power will be transformed into Divine power. It has been said before that the power of gods is different from the power of mortals. Under the same combat power, the power unleashed by the power of gods is more powerful. There is another very important benefit of breaking through to the divine dimension, which is that your lifespan will be greatly increased. Of course, even if Lewis made a breakthrough in dimension, he would definitely not be able to defeat the other candidate Gods of Destruction. Lewis didn't think he could beat others at the moment, but others couldn't kill him either. The result was destined to be a draw. After weighing the three options, Lewis chose to focus on the dimension. But one thing you need to note is that dimensional cultivation is not just about having enough talent. It also requires a lot of time, and even opportunities and luck. So Lewis ascended to the heavens again. Heavenly Temple. The gods are watching the lower world as always. The god wiped the cold sweat off his face and said, "I didn't expect the real gods of destruction would come to Earth." A ray of light flew over from the lower world, and the person who came was none other than Lewis. The god asked in confusion, "Mr. Candidate Gods of Destruction, is there something wrong with you?" Lewis smiled and said, "I came here to borrow your spiritual time house. I wonder if the gods can agree. Can you agree to it? If you don't agree, will you destroy the earth?" The god swallowed his saliva. Although he was very curious about why Lewis knew about the spirit time house, he nodded. "Of course, there is no problem." "Well, take me there." "Okay, please follow me." The god took Lewis into the temple and through the corridor. Along the way, the god explained to Lewis the precautions of the spirit time house. Lewis already knew what was going on in the spirit time room, but he still listened quietly. Arrived at the door of the spirit time house. The god said, "Candidate Gods of Destruction, please come out within 2 years, otherwise you will be trapped in there forever." Good. Lewis didn't tell the gods that, in fact, as long as the power is strong enough, he can still break through the space barrier and return to reality. Lewis walked into the spirit time room. Other universes at this time. Rumshi, have you chosen your candidate? I picked it more than 10 years ago. What about you, Champa? If you don't see Beerus as your brother, then you won't participate in this challenge. Tisk, I wish I could mock that skinny rib every day. That's good. We still have a year to let them practice and make sure nothing goes wrong. The 11 gods of destruction came together to plot a challenge against Lewis. On the other side, the serving angels also gathered together. Vados, have you found out the origin of that sacred aura? Sister, I didn't find out. What about you all? We didn't know either. We asked Whis, but he said he knew nothing. Maybe he really doesn't know. Well, let's take this opportunity to go to the 7th universe and check it out. Yes. Time passed, and a year went by. Exodus, inside Tazy's restaurant. Lewis, come and eat this. Tazy forked a piece of meat to Lewis's mouth. Lewis smiled slightly, opened his mouth, and ate the piece of meat that was forked to his mouth. When Tazy saw that he had finished eating, she picked up a tissue and gently wiped his mouth. The other side of the dining table. Whis, don't grab it, it's mine. Master Beerus, mine, mine. Beerus and Whis were fighting over the last chicken leg on the table and were about to start a fight. Master Beerus, I'm full. I'll go to King Kai and be back soon. Louis said hello and left the hall with ties. Seeing this, the two people in the restaurant stopped, and Beerus took the opportunity to snatch the chicken leg from Whis, chewing it while saying, Whis, you didn't leave because you thought there was something wrong with this guy. A year ago, Louis went to that mysterious heaven for more than 10 days, and he was a little different when he came back. Whis thought thoughtfully, it seems that the dimension is a little different. Yes, I have the same feeling. I always feel that Louis will soon break through to the level of a god. Beerus took another bite of the chicken leg and shook his head, I'm afraid I'm crazy. Louis has only been practicing for 16 years. How could he break through to the god level so quickly? King Kai star. Swish. Louis shows up here with Tai's instant transmission. Sudden. Two overwhelming forces came rushing towards them. Tazy's originally rosy face turned pale in an instant. Don't be afraid. Louis hugged Tai's tightly, and suddenly a purple light appeared on his body. The destructive aura tightly enveloped the two of them, and the rolling air waves hit the destructive aura and suddenly disintegrated. You scared me. Tazy patted her chest. 10x Kaioken. 10x Kaioken. With two loud shouts, the rolling air waves became violent again, and King Kai's star kept shaking, as if it would explode in the next second. You two guys, stop it right now. King Kai clung to the leaning tree, his pet gorilla and grasshopper clinging to his thighs. Who are they? They are so strong. Tazy was protected, but still covered her mouth, stunned. They are my people. I didn't expect they actually learned Kaioken. Louis hugged Ties, and strong air waves hit them wildly in front of them, but in the end they couldn't break through the destructive aura. After a while, the two red lights dimmed, and Son Goku and Vegeta released their Kaioken status. King Kai and his two pets loosened their grip on the tree and crawled weakly to the ground. It's Louis. Son Goku noticed Louis, and of course also noticed Ties beside Louis. Louis, who is she? She is my wife. Louis smiled slightly and pulled Ties over. Tazy, who was standing next to him, felt very happy and looked at Louis tenderly. Louis squeezed her little hand and looked at Vegeta, how's Kaioken? Vegeta grinned and said, very strong, Frieza is dead now. Oh, Louis sensed the aura of Vegeta and Son Goku. When Son Goku came to King Kai Star, his combat power was 80,000, and Vegeta's was slightly less than Son Goku, only 70,000. Now, according to Louis's perception, Son Goku's strength should be around 200,000 combat power. As for Vegeta, he is still a little less than Son Goku, with only about 170,000 combat power. Haha, it seems like you guys are very confident in your revenge plan. HMPH, I'm going to kill Frieza myself. Vegeta gnashed his teeth, the image of the explosion of planet Vegeta was still vivid in his mind. Perhaps with his combat power of 170,000, he is still unable to defeat the Emperor of the Universe. But, if he transforms into a giant ape, Frieza will definitely not be his opponent. At this time, meet the candidate gods of destruction. King Kai regained his strength and hurried over to salute. Don't wait until the other party gets angry because of your lack of courtesy and then crushes his remaining planets. Louis nodded to King Kai, then looked at Son Goku and the others and said, the 1-year time is up, now that you have all learned Kaioken, let's go back to Earth. Son Goku hesitated to speak. Kakarot, what's wrong with you? Why don't you ask us if we have learned another special move from King Kai? Son Goku bared his teeth, kind of showing off. Snort. Vegeta on the side folded his arms and snorted coldly. Is it true that you, Kakarot, learned it, but Vegeta didn't? Louis laughed. How boring. Vegeta snorted again. Son Goku put his arm around Vegeta's shoulders and smiled at Louis, haha, Louis you're really smart. Vegeta's face darkened even more, and he finally spoke up, what's so great about that? It's just a spirit bomb. It's not as powerful as Kaioken. The word jealousy was almost printed on his face. Okay, didn't I tell you that not everyone can learn this move? Vegeta, you don't have to worry about it. Louis said. Yes, only people with a pure heart can learn this move. King Kai nodded quickly. At this moment, Vegeta's face was darker than the bottom of a pot. Doesn't this mean that he has impure thoughts? Finally, Lewis took Ties, a depressed Vegeta, and a happy Son Goku away from King Kai planet. Chapter 25 Ding, please sign in before the gods. Back on Earth, Son Goku returned to Bun Mountain, while Vegeta lived in Bulma's house. Having just returned, the two had no plans to look for Frieza for revenge right away, so they decided to rest first. Inside the backyard, Tazy and Lewis sat on the swing, lowered their heads, and said shyly, "Lewis, can you please repeat what you said at King Kai Star?" Lewis pretended not to understand and looked at her with a smirk. "What did I say? I kind of forgot." "You." Ties raised her head, puffed up like an angry little lion. She has beautiful eyes, especially those that are round and cute. She is obviously a big sister, but after being kept young forever by Shenron, she looks like a girl. It's really fatal. Lewis's heartbeat quickened. Tazy grabbed Lewis's hand, bit it lightly, and said angrily, "Hurry up and tell me, or I will bite you to death." Lewis pursed his lips and rubbed her little head. "If you bite me to death, you will have no husband." "Lewis, I'm so happy." Ties smiled sweetly, jumped directly to the ground, then jumped into his arms, hugging Lewis like a tree. The girl in his arms was very soft, and her fresh body fragrance penetrated into his nose, and Lewis felt a strange feeling in his heart. It is sweet happiness melting in the heart. He came to the Dragon Ball world, and he always wanted to punch Beerus and kick Zeno. Who would have thought that I would meet Ties? There are many beauties in Dragon Ball, such as Bulma, Chi-Chi, number 18. But Tazy is beautiful in a different way. She is mature and intellectual, yet naughty and cute. Lewis put his hands on Tize's back and hugged her. He now has someone to care about. "I asked you to protect me before, but you deceived me." A faint voice suddenly came from Tazy in his arms. "What did I lie to you about? You deceived my heart." Tize raised her head, and her beautiful eyes were filled with Lewis's shadow. Lewis covered his chest and felt like he was hit by a sweet arrow feather. Holding her little face in his hands, he said, "Sister Tazy, how did you learn to tease people?" She had long golden hair draped behind her head, a fair and delicate face, and red lips that opened and closed slightly. "I'm not teasing you, and I'm not your sister. I am your wife." Tazy stuck out her tongue, looking cute and innocent. The breeze blew, but it couldn't take away the heat in Lewis's body. His sister Tize is so cute. Lewis held her little face and bit her red lips gently. Tazy's eyes widened. "He kissed me." Her mind went blank and she forgot to resist. When she came to her senses, she responded to him, and her bold move made her ears burn. After a while, the lips parted. "You." Tazy suddenly felt something pressing against her, her face flushed, and she pinched the corner of Lewis's clothes with her fingers. "You." Sorry. Lewis stuttered when he spoke, and the dignity of the substitute gods of destruction disappeared completely, making him just like a fool and a dullard. Lewis is ready to let Tize go. Puff. Tazy covered her little mouth and laughed, then hugged Lewis tightly, still in the tree hug posture. "Just give it a thumbs up. He's my man anyway." Lewis was held tightly by Tize, the stimulation was getting greater and greater, and the smell of hormones was getting stronger and stronger. The two looked at each other. The air became hot and dry. Lewis lowered his head, Tize's mouth corners slightly raised, and she closed her eyes again. Sudden buzz. Dozens of colorful lights appeared in the sky, and a vast aura of the gods filled the entire earth. Mortals couldn't detect it, but Lewis could sense it. So at the same time. Ding, task released, please sign in front of the angel gods of destruction, reward, God Dimension. Closing square bracket. God Dimension. Lewis was stunned, then ecstatic. When he was still in the gods of destruction world, he had been practicing the dimension. After 4 years of training, he had made little progress in his dimensional training. After coming to Earth, he practiced for more than a year, plus more than 10 years in the spiritual time chamber, and he finally made a breakthrough. That is stepping into the divine dimension. But Lewis always failed to make the final move. Now the system has actually released this task, which is really cool. Lewis didn't kiss her, but held Tazy's little face and said gently, "Sister Tazy, they are here." "Who's coming?" Tazy opened her eyes and puffed out her mouth. "It turns out kissing is so comfortable. I almost kissed her again. How annoying. They are the candidate gods of destruction from other universes. They came to me. It's them. I'm so p*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** really angry that she didn't get to kiss her little boy. I can't stand it anymore. Kiss first. Tazy raised her head and kissed him. Still not satisfied, put your tongue in. After a while. All right. Lewis scratched her little nose and said, after I finish fighting them, I will come back to accompany Sister Tazy. Go, go. Finally, Lewis left the backyard. The northern part of the earth. 11 colorful streams of light appeared here, and suddenly 33 figures appeared. Except for the 11 figures with divine halos floating above their heads, the other 22 figures all exuded a powerful aura. First Universe Gods of Destruction IWNE said, why is Beerus on this garbage planet? The 10th Universe Gods of Destruction Rumshi taunted, sure enough, the 7th universe has begun to decline. Ha ha ha, the Gods of Destruction laughed. The 11 angels standing by had no expression on their faces, but their eyes were fixed on the tall tower in the forest in the north of the earth. As for the remaining 11 figures, they are all candidates for Gods of Destruction. At this time, 2 figures appeared here. Beerus said coldly, he really came. Group 6 Universe Gods of Destruction Champa laughed, Skinny Chops, are you ready for a fight? Where's your heir? After saying this, Champa pretended to look around. Your heir, you're not afraid of us, are you? That's why you don't bring him here. Ha ha ha, I think Beerus is scared too. Why doesn't he dare to bring your people here? Quitella, the 4th Universe Gods of Destruction, laughed. Ha ha ha, the Gods of Destruction are fearless. After all, if you let a little brat be the candidate Gods of Destruction, how powerful can he be after only practicing for a dozen years? Beerus snorted coldly, laugh. I wonder if you can still laugh later. The 2nd Universe Gods of Destruction Hareth spoke up, everyone can brag. If you have the guts, send your heir out. Stop talking nonsense, Beerus. We agreed to let our heirs spar with each other. Get your people out now. 11th Universe Gods of Destruction Vermut looked at Beerus teasingly. The group of Gods of Destruction candidates also smiled. They had received orders long ago that they must make the heir of the 7th universe look bad in this competition. At this time, there was a slight fluctuation in space, and a figure appeared next to Beerus. The person who came was none other than Lewis. Ding, you have successfully signed in front of the Angel Gods of Destruction. Reward, God Dimension. Buzz. A divine aura suddenly burst out from Lewis, and he finally took the finishing touch. The power of mortals is completely transformed into the power of gods. After breaking through to the God Dimension, Lewis's lifespan became the same as Supreme Kai and Gods of Destruction. At this moment, the Angel Gods of Destruction noticed Lewis's breakthrough, and the scene instantly became boiling. What the hell? God's Dimension? Who is this guy? Why did he break through to the Divine Dimension? Could it be the candidate Gods of Destruction of the 7th universe? How is that possible? Beerus has only been recruiting candidates for the Gods of Destruction for a dozen years. It's impossible to train a little brat to the God Dimension in just a dozen years. The Gods of Destruction stared at Lewis in shock. Not to mention the other Gods of Destruction were shocked, even Beerus and Whis were equally stunned. Isn't this kid from King Kai's dimension? How did he break through in the blink of an eye? Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 26 The Surprise of the Gods. Greetings, Gods of Destruction. Lewis touched his nose and recognized the Gods of Destruction and Angel at the scene. Only, there are 11 other people next to them, their dimensions are not high, the highest is only the Yama dimension. The dimension is not high, but the aura they exude is extremely strong. These 11 people must be the candidate Gods of Destruction from other universes. Etc. Lewis suddenly saw a familiar figure among these candidate Gods of Destruction. Toppo. In the Super anime, Toppo is the captain of the 11th Universe Pride team. He faced Vegeta in the Tournament of Power, and in the end, both of them were eliminated. Unexpectedly, he had already been accepted by Vermut as a candidate Gods of Destruction. Only a dozen years have passed, and he has made it this far. He must be very talented. What's the point of having a strong talent for dimensional cultivation? Don't you realize that his power is very... Wait, there's an aura of destruction coming from him. He learned to break the rules. The 8th Universe Gods of Destruction, Gillier, said, this kid's talent is terrifying. No wonder Beerus accepted him as a candidate for Gods of Destruction. Universe Gods of Destruction Jin said in disbelief, it's terrifying. In just over 10 years, he was able to cultivate his dimension to the level of a god, and even comprehend the rules of destruction. Champa shook his head frantically. We guessed wrong. I told you, how could Skinny Ribs make fun of the gods of destruction candidate? The other gods of destruction had the same shocked look on their faces. As for Angel, they were even more shocked. Look at Lewis. Lewis exudes a faint aura, which the gods of destruction may not notice at first, but this is an angel-level realm. How could the angels not notice it? The state of freedom. How old is the 7th universe's candidate gods of destruction? At most, he's around 20 years old. This kid must have started practicing since he was in his mother's womb. No, practicing in the mother's womb only takes 1 more year. This kid is so scary. How is it? Didn't you just tell me to ask Lewis to come over? How does he feel about my heir? Beerus placed his hand on Lewis's shoulder, looked at the gods in front of him, and laughed. In fact, Beerus was very confused as to how Lewis suddenly broke through to the god dimension. But, now is not the time to ask. When he saw the disbelieving expressions on these guys' faces, all the depression he had felt over the years disappeared. I feel very comfortable. Don't be so complacent. Don't think that your heir is so talented that he can win this competition. Quitella looked at Beerus and Lewis, his face was gloomy. Beerus has a grudge against him and is stronger than him. It can be said that he is the person that many gods of destruction most want to see the fall of the 7th universe. All along, the development of the 7th universe has been getting worse and worse, and it is very likely to be destroyed by Zeno at any time. He is really happy. But I didn't expect it. I see signs of the 7th universe's resurrection in this kid in front of me. Yes, in this competition, it's not about who has better talent. It also depends on real strength. Vermut patted Topo beside him. Topo, step forward. Boom. The smell of destruction rose into the sky, the ground exploded, and the forest disappeared. So strong. His rule-breaking skills are so strong, he's a tough opponent. The candidate gods of destruction spoke up one after another. The earth was shaking more and more, and in the next second it would disintegrate under Topo's destructive aura. Lewis stayed beside Beerus the whole time, watching Topo destroying the earth with an expressionless face. Boy, you're looking for death. Beerus's face was darker than an ink fountain. The earth is the gourmet planet that he found with great difficulty. Anyone who dares to destroy his earth is his enemy. Beerus exuded a murderous aura and disappeared in an instant. Topo, who was beside Vermut, suddenly felt that he couldn't breathe smoothly, as if he was being stared at by a prehistoric beast. The destructive aura on him suddenly dissipated. Stop. Vermut was shocked. What happened to Beerus? Why did he do it himself? He quickly took action, flashed in front of Topo, tensed his muscles, and clenched his fists with all his strength. Rush forward. At the same time, a purple fist appeared in the void and collided with Vermut's fist. Boom. Mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. The earth exploded instantly, and the northern Milky Way was dented in a star field. All the angels stepped up to protect their own substitute gods of destruction, and Whis also pretended to protect Lewis. In the starry sky of universe. Beerus, are you crazy? IWNE was stunned. The gods of destruction cannot fight each other. Beerus, do you want to be wiped out by Lord Zeno? Hareth shouted. All the gods of destruction stood up and accused Beerus, but no one dared to take action. Even Champa only dared to speak out because he knew Beerus was angry. At this time, Vermut and Beerus separated and retreated to Topo's side. Beerus, you want to fight, then I'll grant you that. Vermut's words were tough, but his hands were shaking as he and Beerus collided. Topo's pupils shrank behind him, and he noticed this. He looked up and looked closely at Beerus. The gods of destruction from the 7th universe is so powerful that even Lord Vermut can't withstand his punch. The other candidates for God of Destruction also showed disbelief. It turned out that there were differences between the gods of destruction themselves. Without looking at the gods, Beerus turned around and said, Whis, restore the earth. Yes. Whis waved his staff, and time went back 2 minutes. The Earth's star field returned to its previous undamaged state. Lewis raised the corner of his mouth slightly and watched the show from the side. If you want to mock, just mock. Why destroy the Earth? Isn't this courting death? But, this Beerus is really strong. Boy, I'll let you go this time. Beerus looked at Topo behind Vermut, and then said coldly, I warn you, if anyone dares to destroy my Earth, I will kill you. The candidate gods of destruction shuddered, there was such a strong killing intent. Topo's back was already wet with sweat, and he was obviously frightened. Stop talking nonsense, are you ready, Skinny Ribs? Get ready to start sparring. At this time, Champa stood up. He was the only one who dared to stand up when Beerus was angry. After all, he is Beerus's brother. What's the hurry? Beerus put away his cold face and turned into a playful one as if what just happened had never happened. Lewis, tell me, when do you want to fight them? Let's wait a few days. After all, the gods of destruction have come all the way to the 7th universe, so we need to let everyone rest first. Lewis finally spoke. The gods of destruction all smiled, and Jin taunted, Beerus, look at your heir, how considerate he is of others, and then look at yourself. Tisk, if you're upset with me, come and fight me. Beerus said, and he and Whis then disappeared, leaving Lewis alone here to accompany the gods. I'm so d off. After all these years, this skinny guy is still so arrogant. Damn it, it looks like I'm going to kill Beerus. Kill him. Do you have the strength to do so? Quote. Listening to the complaints of the gods of destruction, Lewis laughed and said, my lords of destruction, please follow me. Lewis took to the sky. The gods of destruction looked at each other, then followed. The other substitute gods of destruction followed closely. They kept looking at Lewis who was flying in front. This kid had a terrifying talent. However, talent does not mean strength, and they are still very confident in this competition. Then you can still mock those skinny guys. Thinking of this, the gods of destruction following Lewis felt very happy. The angels flew at the end. I didn't expect that the candidate gods of destruction of the 7th universe would have such high talent. Yes, that young man named Lewis, he seems to have realized the perfect state of freedom. No wonder Beerus would accept that young man as a candidate for gods of destruction. The 7th universe is about to rise. The angels said one after another. At this time, Vados suddenly frowned and said, Sister, have you found the tall tower in the middle of the forest? In the forests of northern Earth lies a tower that reaches high into the sky. The angels were shocked, they also noticed the tower, it was very old. And there are many mysterious marks engraved on it. All the angels looked at Kes. Kes said solemnly, I saw it. The tower is very old. I can't recognize its origin. This planet is not simple. As soon as these words came out, all the angels were stunned. Even their eldest sister couldn't recognize this tower. Let these little guys finish their fight first, then we'll ask Whis. Kes's eyebrows knitted together. Ask him where the sacred aura came from, and ask him if he knows the tower on this planet. Chapter 27, Competing with the Candidate Gods of Destruction. Lewis was unaware of the angel's shock, and he asked his sister-in-law Bulma to arrange accommodation for the gods. With Beerus' previous warning, the gods of destruction and the alternate gods of destruction did not dare to mess around on Earth. Beerus was very satisfied with the performance of the gods. After this, Beerus and Whis finally approached Lewis to ask about his breakthrough into the god dimension. Lewis said that he had cultivated the dimension to the King Kai bottleneck a long time ago, and just by chance he broke through. Beerus and the other two were speechless. They knew Lewis was special, but this kid was also really talented. Over the years, Lewis has not focused on strength training. Instead, he will focus on cultivating the dimension. Whis and Beerus saw it all. Although Lewis's strength is a little weaker for the time being, he can always improve it by practicing as long as he spends time. But the dimension is different. Some people have practiced for millions of years, but in the end they are still just a small Yama dimension or Kaio dimension. It is really difficult to break through and become a true god. Next, the gods of destruction spent 2 quiet days on Earth. Champa couldn't stand it, he came here just to taunt Beerus. As a result, we had to wait 2 days before we could start the competition. There is no excuse, it is not easy to mock Beerus directly. So Champa asked Vados to take out his favorite food, bird eggs. Taunting the 7th universe, there must be nothing so delicious. Beerus thought it was some delicacy at first, until he took a bite and couldn't help but sneer back. Say what rubbish this is. Beerus waved his hand and asked Whis to bring the instant noodles over. Angel, gods of destruction, and alternate gods of destruction, each was given a bucket of instant noodles. What the hell? Beerus, what is this? It's so delicious. Every noodle and every mouthful of soup is so delicious. Beerus, I've finished eating, is there any more? Champa huddled aside eating instant noodles and didn't dare to say anything. A few days passed. The gods have been so immersed in the delicacies of the earth that they almost forgot about the competition. Taiza's backyard. Quitella looked at the gods of destruction who were eating ice cream, pudding, desserts, etc., and said loudly, "Okay, have you all forgotten why we came here? What are we doing here? It seems he is here to spar with Beerus's heir." Boom. The 10 gods of destruction reacted instantly. Champa walked up to Beerus, pointed at his nose and yelled, "Beerus, you're tempting us with delicious food. Do you think you can just get away with it? No way." Hareth took a bite of the pudding and showed an expression of enjoyment. "Beerus, you really went too far." Rumshi drank a glass of cold beer and burped. "Luckily the dead rat reminded us, otherwise we would have forgotten it." "Remove it." The gods of destruction criticized Beerus. Beerus rolled his eyes and said, "You forgot about it and you blame me, right? Stop talking nonsense and start the competition today." "Humph. I gave you some good food because I was in a good mood, but now you pick up the bowl to eat meat and put down your chopsticks to curse your mother, right? Who is afraid of whom? His Lewis is already invincible. If he wants to be ridiculed so much, then come on. Whis, get Lewis over here." Yes. With Whis's contact, Lewis appeared here instantly. "Lord Beerus, what's wrong? They are eager to be ridiculed, let's get started, don't delay." "No problem, but I want 2 people to come over and see the battle of the candidate gods of destruction level." Lewis asked Whis to find where Vegeta and Son Goku were, but Whis said that Vegeta had left the Earth with Son Goku, Raditz and Nappa. "What? Where are they going?" "The direction they're heading seems to be towards Namek." Quote. Lewis was dumbfounded. What's going on? Piccolo is not dead, the gods are not dead, so why would they go to Namek? It turns out that Vegeta has been dating Bulma for the 3 years since he came to Earth. Vegeta knew that Bulma's sister was in contact with the Galactic Patrolman Jack, so he contacted the Galactic Patrol headquarters through ties. King Vegeta, who was far away at the Galactic headquarters, finally got news of his son, and he sent a message to Vegeta. Frieza discovered the legend of the Namek Dragon Ball, and Frieza is heading to Namek. If Frieza gets the Dragon Ball, Saiyan is finished. So, King Vegeta led all the young Saiyans to attack. More than 1,500 Saiyans attacked Namek. For a moment, the 7th universe was in complete uproar. One is the Universe Emperor Frieza, and the other is the Rising Star Saiyan clan. The 2 major forces are about to collide. After Vegeta learned this information, he immediately took Son Goku and others away from the Earth. After Whis' narration, Lewis knew the whole story. The blood in his body suddenly began to boil. The Saiyan clan is going to fight Frieza. It's exciting just thinking about it. He really wanted to go see the show, but he couldn't leave. "Lewis, what are you thinking about?" Beerus said. "Lord Beerus, let's get started. I have to go to Namek after the fight." Lewis tried to hold back his excitement. Beerus nodded and looked at Whis. "Whis, set up the void battlefield." Whis smiled and said, "Big sis, please help me." In the corner of the yard, Kay slowly put down the ice cream in her hand and flew into the air with Whis. Coming to a void, the 2 of them waved their staffs at the same time. Buzz. 2 colorful streams of light emerged from the staff and penetrated into the void. The void was instantly transformed into a battlefield of 100,000 square meters. The angels, gods of destruction, and substitute gods of destruction on the ground all flew into the battlefield. Lewis was the last one to step onto the battlefield, and the outside of the battlefield froze instantly. The 5th universe gods of destruction Eric said, "How do you want to spar this time?" Vermut, the 11th universe gods of destruction, said, "It doesn't matter how you want to fight, just leave Lewis to me, the 11th universe." The 6th group of universe gods of destruction Champa was furious. "What are you thinking? Lewis can only leave the 6th universe to me." The gods of destruction were talking to each other, and everyone wanted to fight Lewis. After all, Lewis hasn't grown up yet, and defeating him will allow him to taunt Beerus severely. Otherwise, when Lewis grows up and wants to compete with him again, it will be too late. "Stop, stop, stop, my lords, why don't you let your heirs come along?" Lewis really didn't have time to waste here. He just wanted to end this farce quickly so that he could rush to Namek. As soon as these words were spoken, the 11 candidate gods of destruction became angry. "How shameless. Don't think you are great just because you are talented. Can you beat any of the substitute gods of destruction here? Do you really think you are the real gods of destruction? Exactly. Your strength isn't good enough yet. How come you've learned Master Beerus's arrogance so quickly? Beerus. Want to hit someone? Quitella flew over, came to Lewis, patted him on the chest, and said coldly, "Boy, you are so arrogant." Beerus's personality had always annoyed him, and it turned out that this kid's personality was exactly the same as Beerus. Lewis narrowed his eyes. "Master Quitella, what's the matter? Do you have a problem with me?" Lewis's tone was calm, but to Quitella's ears it sounded provocative. The gods of destruction looked at Lewis with a joking look on their faces. What a bold boy. Isn't he afraid that Quitella will kill him? Beerus nodded. He didn't think there was anything wrong with Lewis. Even if there was, he thought it was a great job. Quitella hated him, so he naturally had no good feelings towards Quitella. "Boy, do you know who you're talking to?" A murderous aura emanated from Quitella's body, and the alternate gods of destruction present trembled violently. "Lord Beerus, please let them come together, I'm in a hurry." Lewis turned his head and ignored Quitella. "You." Quitella was furious. He was ignored by a piece of trash. "Raise your hand and condense a destructive energy." Buzz. The atmosphere of the void battlefield was instantly disrupted. "Quitella, you passed." Beerus instantly appeared behind Lewis, face to face with Quitella, his face devoid of any emotion. "Passed." Vermut, who was watching the show, twitched his mouth. "A few days ago, Topo from his universe damaged the Earth a little bit, and you wanted to kill Topo. Didn't this pass? Even if you protect your own child, you won't do that." The gods present were also speechless. "Humph, since he wants to die, I will help him." Quitella put his hand away, turned his face to look at his universe's candidate gods of destruction, and said, "Troy, you and the other universe's candidate gods of destruction will attack together and kill that guy for me." "Yes." Fourth universe candidate gods of destruction. Troy nodded. The other candidate gods of destruction looked at their own gods of destruction and saw them nod as well. Then all the candidates for gods of destruction flew into the air. Seeing this, all the angels were stunned by this scene. Vados glanced at the calm Whis and asked in confusion, "Whis, is your candidate gods of destruction crazy?" The other angels were equally confused. Didn't Lewis think that he was invincible just because he had achieved the state of perfect freedom? Dare to challenge Quitella, and dare to challenge 11 alternate gods of destruction at the same time. Either stupid or crazy. Faced with the questioning of his brothers and sisters, Whis just smiled and said nothing. Kes seemed to be thinking about something, and tilted her head and asked, "Could it be that he is fearless?" Apart from being crazy, this was the only possibility she could think of. "Are you confident?" The fourth universe angel Conic laughed. "This kid is very talented, and has broken through to the divine level, but he is still far from being as strong as before. How can he be so confident?" Vados and other angels also think so. "Well, you will know if you keep reading." Whis laughed. Lewis's peculiarity cannot be hidden, it will eventually be known to everyone. Might as well take this opportunity to let everyone know about this. What's more, even the Grand Priest knows about this and asked him to train Lewis well, so there will definitely not be any problem. Chapter 28. Ignore. The sky. 1 Volt 11. Lewis looked at the other 11 people indifferently. Topo was the one he was most familiar with. Topo is strong. Being able to tie with Vegeta in Deep Blue state in the anime is definitely not something that ordinary people can resist. As for the other candidates for gods of destruction, he had never seen or heard of them. Lewis didn't know which one was the strongest among them, but no matter which candidate god of destruction it was, he couldn't defeat it with his current strength. There is no doubt about this. "Boy, you are crazy." Troy frowned. He was recruited by Quitella as a candidate gods of destruction more than 10 years ago, in order to defeat the candidate gods of destruction of the 7th universe one day in the future. Now we are finally meeting. What? Being crazy is against the law. Lewis's mouth corners raised slightly. "You are really too arrogant. You will cry later. What gave you the courage to challenge all 11 of us at the same time?" The candidates for gods of destruction all shook their heads. Lewis was fearless and said, "Stop talking nonsense and get ready to start. Since you want to die early, I will grant your wish." Troy saw Quitella in the distance giving him a look. The other candidate gods of destruction are ready for battle. At this time, besieging is not a just act. It goes against my principles. Go ahead. Topo shook his head and flew away. "Cut. What are you pretending for? Don't worry about him, let's go." The competition began, and the atmosphere in the void battlefield suddenly became solemn. The 10 candidate gods of destruction suddenly turned into purple light and cut through the void. An overwhelming aura of destruction came towards Lewis. In the distance, gods of destruction. Jin shook his head. This guy is dead. I don't know how he dared to fight 11 alone. Quitella laughed. Beerus, your people are so stupid. Beerus looked at Rumshi and flew into a rage. You damn elephant, where are your people? What are you thinking about? Do you deserve it? You skinny cat, are you looking for death? Rumshi was furious. He hated it most when people called him a dead elephant. Want to fight? Sure. Beerus walked towards Rumshi, his eyes extremely cold. Rumshi was startled and quickly shut up. It would be fine if he joined others to fight Beerus, but he was unwilling to face Beerus alone no matter what. Sudden. Okay, let's get started. Hearing this voice, the gods of destruction looked into the void in the distance. Crash, crash. 10 purple rays of light flew towards Lewis. See this. Although Lewis knew he would not be hurt, the thought of being beaten up by 10 substitute gods of destruction gave him chills. It's not my character to surrender without a fight. Lewis clenched his fists and mobilized the strength in his body. Boom. 1.5 billion combat forces exploded in an instant, and the aura that erupted suddenly turned into gold. Lewis's hair is one blonde and one black. Keep flashing. Boom. The heaven and earth are shaking. Super Saiyan. Combat power. 75 billion combat power. Normally, his combat power is 75 billion, but Lewis broke through to the level of a god a few days ago, and his power was transformed into the power of a god. With his current strength, it is no longer possible to measure it by combat effectiveness. According to Whis, Lewis's current power has not reached the first level of the god realm, but not far off. The overwhelming gust of air rushed in all directions, and the 10 substitute gods of destruction that were attacking Lewis stopped. What a powerful force. No wonder he dared to challenge 11 of us at once. Humph, but that's not enough. This power is still far from the first level of the god realm. Superior. Troy led the charge, followed closely by the other alternate gods of destruction. The sky was suddenly covered with purple light. Troy appeared in front of Lewis, the second level of power of the realm of God gathered in his hand, and punched out. Lewis raised his hand to block. What a powerful force. Lewis felt no pain, but the powerful impact threw him sideways. As soon as they met, Lewis showed signs of defeat. Topo on the side frowned. Is this the candidate gods of destruction of the 7th universe? Doesn't he want to fight 1 against 11? Can't you withstand just one punch? When the gods of destruction in the distance saw this, they all covered their stomachs and began to mock. Ha ha ha, Beerus, what the hell is this universe of yours? You thought you were awesome just because you dyed your hair blonde, but you can't even take a punch from Troy. How funny. You really thought you were a master of the 5th level of the divine realm. It turns out you are such a noob. Your stubborn personality is exactly like yours, Beerus. Why did he choose to learn your stubborn personality when he could learn anything else? This kid is really wasting such a top-notch talent. Listening to the taunts of a group of gods of destruction, Beerus' face turned slightly hot. His plan was not to let Lewis defeat the other candidate gods of destruction, but to let Lewis hold out until the end of the battle. No one can kill Lewis. This way, he could taunt back. A group of gods of destruction candidates at the 2nd level of the god realm were unable to defeat a little guy who didn't even have the power to reach the god realm in a group fight. Beerus knew that anything he said at this point would be a weak rebuttal, so he just quietly waited for the final result. Once the results came out, it was time for him to speak. Seeing Beerus remained silent, the gods of destruction mocked him even more fiercely. Different from the reactions of the gods of destruction, the angels were stunned when they saw Lewis being hit by a punch. Whis, you, young man universe, are able to remain unscathed from Troy's full-strength attack. It must be fake. Facing the questioning of his brothers and sisters, Whis simply said, you will know soon. The angels then realized that the young man named Lewis was really fearless. What a rubbish. How dare you pretend to be so arrogant? After Troy hit Lewis, he folded his arms, hovered in the air and laughed wildly. Lewis was hit so hard that his gods of destruction costume burst instantly, and he was thrown far away. The other gods of destruction candidates flashed their bodies. They followed the orders of their own gods of destruction and would not let Lewis go easily. They all chased after him. Each person condenses a destructive energy bomb. The world is eclipsed. This is not a competition at all. It's a matter of life and death. Boy, let you go crazy. Go to hell. The substitute gods of destruction threw their weapons with all their might, and 10 destructive energy bombs flew towards Lewis with endless power. Overwhelming. Lewis was thrown onto the barrier of the void battlefield, was blocked, and looked at the destructive energy that was coming. When I break through to the realm of God, I will kill you. Lewis gritted his teeth. He closed his eyes. The golden aura on his body suddenly disappeared. The gods of destruction in the distance thought Lewis had given up and were considering whether to ask their heir to stop. After all, this is Beerus' heir. It would be terrible if Lewis was really killed. Only Quitella looked crazy. He didn't care if Beerus got angry or not. It is really that Lewis is too talented. If he is really allowed to grow up, his 4th universe will be suppressed by the 7th universe. No, he has a grudge against Beerus and must kill Lewis. He gave Troy a look. Sudden. In the distance, after the golden aura on Lewis disappeared, his hair turned back to black. But, the next moment, an ethereal aura emerged from Lewis, and a silver light shot up into the sky. With Lewis as the center, silver air waves rolled. The state of perfect freedom. Boom. The powerful force is like thousands of horses galloping, the magnetic field is disordered, and the space is distorted. The entire void battlefield was covered by silver air waves, like a vast ocean. Lewis also dodged the 10 destructive energies by moving according to his heart. This scene fell into the eyes of the gods of destruction, and those who were originally mocking Beerus now fell silent. Quote. A second passed. The gods of destruction were furious. Impossible. The realm of freedom. How could this kid be in the realm of freedom? Beerus, tell me, is this fake? All gods of destruction fell into a world of shock. So scary. You have to know that the state of freedom is an angel-level state, which is difficult to comprehend. It can be said that almost no one present can comprehend it. Even if there is, it can only be possible with the strongest gods of destruction Beerus. But what the gods of destruction don't know is that Beerus has not yet realized this state of mind. He was still a little bit away from touching the rudiments of the state of freedom. Ha ha ha. Beerus laughed happily. It was hard not to be happy when these guys, who had mocked him for more than 10 years, looked so happy. So what? Are you still mocking me for taking in a little brat as a candidate gods of destruction? Don't be complacent. As I said before, talent is nothing. Only strength is real strength. Quitella gritted his teeth, he felt so sad. Even he hasn't realized the realm of freedom, but this kid can lead Goten to the realm of level. This kind of top talent is really enviable. How nice it would be if I were his heir. At this point Quitella had forgotten how he had taunted Beerus before. Yes, even if you have the state of freedom, so what? Champa clenched his fist. Is there any candidate for gods of destruction here who doesn't have the power of the 2nd level of the god realm? 1 against 10, there is no way you can win even if you are at the level of freedom. Physical strength is his biggest problem. Go ahead, beat that guy down for me. Hareth and other gods of destruction shouted. If Lewis really held on, they wouldn't be able to taunt Beerus but would be taunted back instead. 11 versus 10, and still no 1-1 in the end. Given Beerus's personality, he would definitely keep talking about this. What a shame. After hearing the orders from the gods of destruction, the stunned candidate gods of destruction unleashed all their strength at once. Boom. The void battlefield shook like a landslide, as if it was the end of the world, and the purple light that erupted was extremely dazzling. Fortunately, the void battlefield was created by Angel, so it did not shake the earth at all. 10 purple rays of light streaked across the sky and came towards him. Lewis twisted his body and pounced on them. He had even withstood Whis' full-strength attack, so why would he be afraid of these 10 guys with the 2nd level of divine power? Lewis quickly entangled with the silver light. Bang! Bang! The powerful force stirred the air, and a violent hurricane suddenly arose. A punch and a kick. Lewis, relying on his free form, naturally weaved between the 10 substitute gods of destruction, giving them a blow from time to time. This is hard for the candidate gods of destruction to accept. Is the state of freedom really that powerful? He can actually fight 1 against 10. Still able to remain unscathed under siege. The gods of destruction were shocked, but the angels' expressions began to change. Then all the angels widened their eyes and turned to look at Whis. Whis touched his nose. Why are you looking at me like that? Kes said solemnly. Whis, can this Lewis ignore the damage? The angels also stared at Whis. They knew long ago that Lewis would be in the state of freedom, and a perfect state of freedom, so they were not surprised when Lewis entered this state. But the moment Lewis fought back, they realized something was wrong. Lewis did not perfectly dodge the attacks of the substitute gods of destruction by relying on his state of freedom, but was able to ignore the attacks when he was attacked. Haha, didn't you see it? Why are you still asking me? Whis smiled faintly. Boom. Real. It can really ignore attacks. The angels swallowed their saliva. They didn't believe it and quickly turned their heads to look at the battle in the distance. Chapter 29 The gods of destruction leave Earth. What the hell is ignoring attacks? Is there really anyone in the world who can do this? But the scene before them told them that there really were people who could do this. The angels widened their eyes. The battle continues. Relying on his perfect state of freedom, Lewis dodged the attacks of the candidate gods of destruction one by one like a loach. Even if you don't dodge them, just ignore their attacks. The alternate gods of destruction soon discovered this and were shocked. Their attacks on Lewis did not cause any damage. Time passes by every second. In the end, Lewis's physical strength was still a problem, and it was too difficult to fight 1 against 10 people. Lewis's physical strength is simply not enough to maintain a free state for a long time. Once he loses his free state, he won't even be qualified to resist the substitute. Ha ha ha, he's exhausted, let him go. The 4th universe substitute gods of destruction, Troy laughed. It's so frustrating. He hit the guy with great difficulty, but the guy was not hurt at all. Beerus must have given this guy some trump card. No wonder he dared to fight 10 people alone. The other candidates had the same idea as Troy. Apart from this, they really couldn't think of any other possibilities. Wait until he runs out of energy, and see how he ignores our attacks later. Superior. The alternate gods of destruction roared towards Lewis. Lewis was hovering in the void, he really had no strength left. It's so frustrating. Lewis glanced at Beerus in the distance. Damn, in order to save his face, he has to be beaten up by others for a while. Hateful. Never mind. No more resistance. Destroy it. Really tired. Lewis gave up resistance and allowed the attacks of the other candidate gods of destruction to hit him. When the gods of destruction candidates saw this, they were overjoyed and their power exploded even more violently. Boom. Boom. Lewis's figure was completely covered by smoke. Just when these 10 candidate gods of destruction thought they could kill Lewis. Inside the thick smoke, their attacks hit Lewis, and a faint white light appeared on Lewis's body. Open black lens bracket immunity close black lens bracket. Immune to all negative influences. Lewis's clothes were blown to pieces, but he was fine. Far away. Ready, ready. Lewis's figure was shrouded in smoke. Beerus saw this and started to mock back at the top of his voice. Beerus's appearance stunned the gods of destruction. Champa frowned and said, "Skinny ribs, your disciples are dead, aren't you sad at all?" 9th Universe Gods of Destruction, Sidra curled her lips and said, "Beerus, are you crazy? Didn't you see that all your disciples are dead?" 10th Universe Gods of Destruction, Vermut shook his head. So, it's better not to be too arrogant. It's a pity to waste such a talented genius. The other gods of destruction jeered. Especially Quitella, he laughed extremely loudly. He and Beerus have always had a feud, and it would be great to see the heir of his enemy die. However, the thick smoke in the sky began to dissipate, and a figure slowly emerged. Quitella's laughter stopped abruptly, and it was Beerus' turn to laugh. How is this possible? Quitella's pupils shrank sharply. Universe Gods of Destruction, Jin pointed to the sky and said in disbelief, "Beerus, how come he is not dead?" Ha ha ha. Beerus laughed loudly, looking at the group of gods of destruction and said, no way, there are still 10 people fighting together and still can't beat others." The eyes of the gods of destruction were all filled with shock. The attacks of the 10 gods of destruction candidates all hit Lewis, but he was not hurt at all. How is that possible? Beerus, what happened to your people? Why are they fine? Quitella said coldly, "Did you do this?" Beerus walked up to Quitella, poked his chest, and sneered, "You be asterisk 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 D, can't you see whether I am playing tricks or not?" Glancing at the angels in the distance, he continued, "Even if you have poor eyesight and can't see it, can't your serving angels see it?" Turning around, Beerus put his face into Quitella's and laughed, "You don't think 10 people together can defeat my heir?" After being ridiculed for more than 10 years, this time he ridiculed back fiercely, it felt so good. "You." Quitella clenched his fists, his chest filled with anger, but before he could say anything, Beerus walked up to gods of destruction IWNE. "You stupid hairball, you want to mock me. Are you qualified? Fur ball. IWNE pointed at himself, furious. Beerus, you die. IWNE was glowing purple, and destructive energy filled the entire sky. Beerus curled his lips and waved his hand, and the destructive energy in the sky disappeared instantly. Ignoring IWNE, he came to Champa again and patted him on the face. You fat pig, your air is not that good either. Taunt one after another. Beerus walked in front of gods of destruction. Vermut, your alternate gods of destruction. Never mind, if he doesn't do anything, he won't taunt you. Ha ha ha, I am dying of laughter. What a bunch of losers. They have been preparing for more than 10 years, just to make fun of me. Ha ha ha, in my eyes, you are just a joke. Beerus held his stomach and laughed out loud. Do you see my vision? What a bunch of ignorant idiots. It makes me laugh to death. Put your face in front of me and I'll hit you. There are actually such weird people in the world, and there are 11 of them. Ha 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 ha. ... Beerus kept laughing, and the faces of the gods of destruction were getting redder and redder. Because what Beerus said was right, they had been preparing for more than 10 years just to defeat the 7th universe's substitute gods of destruction today. Then taunt Beerus harshly. Who would have thought that Lewis was so amazing that he could withstand attacks from 10 gods of destruction candidates with the 2nd level of power in the realm of gods without being harmed? What a shame. At this moment, the 11 gods of destruction wished they could find a hole in the ground to crawl into. They just hope that their heir can defeat Lewis in the ensuing brawl. No matter how you attack, there is no effect. Lewis was able to completely ignore the attack and took no damage at all. What the hell is this? Half a day passed. The alternate gods of destruction have been attacking Lewis, but Lewis is still unharmed. Finally, the 10 gods of destruction candidates fell straight from the sky due to exhaustion. My lord gods of destruction, your air is not that good either. In the sky, Lewis, shirtless, laughed. On the ground, the gods of destruction were filled with rage. As the most powerful gods in the universe, they were actually mocked by a young boy. Hareth bit his back teeth and said, Beerus, is your air so rude? Rude. Beerus turned his nose up at the gods of destruction and sneered, you were not gentlemanly at all when you were 10-1 just now. You. Hareth's eyes were blazing with anger. Well, Master Beerus, now that our sparring is over, I'm going to take my leave now. In the air, Lewis was about to use instant transmission to go to Namek, but suddenly turned his head and looked at the gods of destruction below. This time you come to trouble my 7th universe, so you should also be prepared for me to trouble your universe. As he spoke, Lewis stared at Quitella and sneered. The other candidates for gods of destruction all held back, but only Troy from universe was so deadly. Very good, very good. After saying that, Lewis disappeared. Only a group of confused gods of destruction and shocked angels were left. This kid actually dared to threaten the gods of destruction. Come back to your senses. Quitella's eyes were blazing with anger. He pointed at Beerus and shouted, Beerus, do your people want to die? I was already annoyed by being mocked by the skinny guy Beerus, but now he is a rubbish threat whose power has not even reached the level of a god. Want to die? Beerus snorted coldly. You just let your people kill you, you'd better pray that Lewis can't cultivate to our level, otherwise you're dead. He knew Saiyan's vengeful character, and Lewis would definitely seek revenge on Quitella in the future. I'm dead, ha 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 ha, I'm dying of laughter. If I hadn't given you face just now, he would have been able to get away from me. Quitella's face was grim. He was almost furious. He was actually threatened by a piece of trash that someone would cause trouble for him in the future. The other gods of destruction had no time to care about the feud between the two. They wanted to ask Beerus, what about Lewis? Why could he ignore the attacks of the alternate gods of destruction? But a voice came. Master Quitella, let's go. The 4th universe serves Angel Cornic, who brings the devoted Troy to Quitella, and the 3 of them disappear in an instant. What's going on? The gods of destruction couldn't help but feel a little nervous. Why did Cornic have such a solemn expression when he left? Lord Vermut, let's go too. Master Champa, we are leaving. Hareth adults. All the serving angels hurriedly left the 7th universe with their own gods of destruction. Beerus and Whis were the only ones left on the void battlefield. Beerus was in a good mood and looked at Whis. Did you tell Lewis about ignoring? Right, Whis said calmly, but I just said Lewis's ignore that sacred aura and what my father said to me before, I didn't say it. Not bad, this kid Lewis. Beerus hadn't finished yet. Whis spoke up. Lord Beerus, they also asked me about the tower in the north of the earth. What do you say? I said I don't know. I guess my elder sister and the others have gone to look for my father. Chapter 30 Prelude to the Battle of Namek. The angels and the gods of destruction leave Earth. At this time, in the starry sky of the seventh universe, a universe battleship with the logo of the Galactic Patrol was flying rapidly. Inside the battleship hall, King Vegeta sat at the top, looking at the 15 Saiyans below, and said in a serious tone. I didn't expect there was such a magical thing as Dragon Ball in the world. This time Frieza found the Dragon Ball, we must not let them get it. King Vegeta, this may be our Saiyans' chance for revenge. Bibert stepped forward and said. He dared to say this because the combat power of the 16 Saiyans in the hall had exceeded 100,000. With such a powerful force, he will surely be able to destroy Frieza. No, I have a feeling that even if we transform into giant ape form, we will not be a match for Frieza. King Vegeta, be careful. A Saiyan who looked very much like Son Goku stood up. This Saiyan is none other than Bardock. Bardock looked at King Vegeta sitting in his seat. He never expected that he would lead the Saiyans to join the Galactic Patrol. But, it is also because of this that Saiyan has undergone new changes. Saiyan is no longer Frieza's lackey. Saiyan becomes the guardians of the universe. Saiyan's combat power has improved by leaps and bounds. All the changes are due to King Vegeta's original decision. What Bardock and the other Saiyans didn't know was that this wasn't actually King Vegeta's decision, but Beerus ordered King Vegeta to do it. As luck would have it, Saiyan's S cells seemed to have awakened because of his changed behavior. Bardock, I actually have the same feeling. Frieza must not have only 530,000 combat power. King Vegeta frowned and said, but if we don't take action, once Frieza gets the Dragon Ball, we Saiyans will be finished. Theodore stood out from the crowd. King Vegeta is right. If we endure this any longer, Frieza will definitely kill us Saiyans as soon as he gets the Dragon Ball. King Vegeta looked at Bardock. Bardock, you are now our #1 Saiyan warrior. When we get to Namek, we will be relying on you. The combat power of the 16 Saiyans in the hall has exceeded 100,000. The strongest among them is Bardock, who has a combat power of 150,000. Defend the glory of Saiyan until death. Bardock looked at King Vegeta with an extremely determined look. If this was the King Vegeta back then, no one would obey his orders no matter what. But now King Vegeta has changed. Not only King Vegeta has changed, but every Saiyan has changed. Saiyan is no longer full of anger, and the violent factor in his body seems to be slowly disappearing. Perhaps because of this, Saiyan's fighting power has increased so terribly. The battleship hall suddenly became quiet. The battle was about to begin, and the Saiyans in the hall all had serious expressions on their faces, obviously affected by what King Vegeta and Bardock had just said. Don't worry about it. At this time, King Vegeta spoke. The Saiyans in the hall all looked up. King Vegeta said, in fact, we Saiyans have another very strong tribesman. A very strong tribesman. The Saiyans frowned. If there really are such powerful people, how come they were hunted down by Frieza in the past? It's just that he doesn't care about us. King Vegeta recalled the scene of meeting Lewis at the Galactic Patrol headquarters 4 years ago and shook his head. Forget it, let's not talk about him. What I want to say is that I have news about Vegeta. King Vegeta-kun, where is he? The Saiyans were ecstatic, even Bardock. After all, Vegeta is an elite warrior of the Saiyan clan, a genius born with a combat power of 1000. If he comes back to participate in this battle, the chances of winning will be greatly improved. Bardock, I not only have news about my son, I also have news about Kakarot. King Vegeta said everything Vegeta had said to him before, if he didn't. Vegeta's power breaks through to 170,000 combat power. Son Goku's power breaks through to 200,000 combat power. Raditz's power breaks through to 80,000 combat power. Nappa's power breaks through to 100,000 combat power. Now, the 4 of them were heading towards Namek. Okay. Bardock was so excited that he said, yes, 3 times. The reason why Bardock was so excited was that he had a premonition before the explosion of planet Vegeta. His second son might transform into a Super Saiyan. This is also the reason why he joined the Galactic Patrol and was not retrieved immediately. Now, more than 10 years have passed, and Bardock never expected that his second son would be found by Vegeta and others and become the #1 Saiyan warrior. Maybe that premonition could be true. Theodore, Bibert and other Saiyans were equally delighted. With their joining, Frieza's forces would surely be wiped out once and for all. In the universe Starry Sky, in addition to the Saiyan battleship flying towards Namek, there was another large battleship also flying towards Namek. Inside the battleship, Frieza sat in the baby stroller and laughed. When I find the Dragon Ball, I'm going to kill Saiyan as soon as possible. What candidate gods of destruction, what gods of destruction Beerus, I will kill them all. There will only be one ruler of the universe, and that is me, Frieza. Frieza thought Shenron was omnipotent and could make any wish come true, but he didn't know that Shenron was nothing in front of the gods of destruction. Lord Frieza, according to reports from my men, the Saiyans are also heading towards Namek. I'm afraid they are trying to stop us from taking the Dragon Ball. Ginyu stepped forward. Frieza snorted coldly, so what if they come? As long as they are not the alternate gods of destruction from 4 years ago, as many Saiyans as come will die. Ginyu showed fear, but their strongest Saiyan already has a combat power of 150,000. If he transforms into a giant ape. Ginyu isn't done yet. Frieza looked at him coldly, you don't think that the transformation I made back then was my full strength? Boom! A powerful force exploded from him, and the entire battleship was shaking. Speed up, I need to get to Namek quickly. Yes. Ginyu broke out in a cold sweat and didn't dare to say anything. 2 large warships flew towards Namek, and all forces in the universe were paying attention to the movements of Saiyan and Frieza. The war is about to begin. After this battle, there will be a major reshuffle of the universe. The evil organizations that cooperate with Frieza's forces hope that Frieza can win, while the justice organizations that stand on the side of the Galactic Patrol hope that the Saiyan clan can win. In a starry sky that no one noticed, a medium-sized spaceship passed by. There were 4 Saiyans sitting inside. Their direction is also Namek. Northern Galaxy, Namek. Lewis had just finished a fight and was shirtless when he arrived at Namek. He didn't care how Beerus taunted him back or how he explained the immunity thing to the angel gods of destruction. Lewis was now focused only on the upcoming battle on Namek. Hey, where are they? Lewis looked around and sensed it, but found no invasion of Namek. There are no battle fluctuations either. Lewis's thought flashed and he disappeared in an instant. The Great Elder sat on a huge chair with a worried look on his face. A great disaster is coming. Can Namek really survive this disaster? As the Great Elder was muttering to himself, a figure appeared out of thin air with a swish. Great Elder, long time no see. Lewis waved his hand. Who are you? The Great Elder was startled, and when he looked down, he felt that Lewis was very familiar, as if he had seen him somewhere. Alternate gods of destruction. The Great Elder finally recognized that the young man in front of him was the candidate gods of destruction 4 years ago. He quickly greeted respectfully. Greetings, Lord Candidate Gods of Destruction. Lewis's clothes were torn and he had no idea what had happened. But this is not something that he, the Great Elder of Namek, can control. The Lewis in front of him didn't look much different from 4 years ago, but the dimension of Lewis seemed to be different from before. Hiss. Is this another breakthrough? No need to be so polite. Lewis waved his hand. The Great Elder came to his senses and quickly requested, alternate gods of destruction, this time my Namek is about to face a great disaster, can you? I will definitely do what I promised back then, don't worry. Lewis borrowed someone else's Dragon Ball that year, and when he left Namek, he asked Naru to convey a message to the Great Elder that in the future he would help Namek solve the impending disaster. Thank you, Lord Alternate Gods of Destruction. The Great Elder's voice sounded very old, but it was obvious that he was much more relaxed. By the way, Great Elder, haven't those people who invaded Namek arrived yet? Lewis asked again. No one has been seen descending on Namek so far. It's not here yet. I was too impatient. Lewis looked at his tattered clothes with a bit of amusement. I should have listened to how Beerus mocked the other gods of destruction before coming here. But now that he's here, Lewis has no plans to go back to Earth. Otherwise, as soon as he leaves Namek, Frieza and his men will arrive here, and Namek will be doomed. I will always be in Namek, Great Elder, just rest assured. Lewis left the Elder's house after leaving these words. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 31, Saiyan Clan vs. Frieza Army. A month passed. In northern Namek, a shirtless figure sits by a lake, eyes closed in meditation. Sudden, an evil aura appeared in the sky. The wind is howling. The atmosphere is extremely depressing. Are you here? Lewis opened his eyes. He discovered a huge universe battleship hovering in the atmosphere above. Boom! Another engine roar was heard, and another universe battleship appeared in the atmosphere. The newly appeared universe battleship is printed with the logo of the Galactic Patrol. Have King Vegeta and the others arrived as well? Lewis raised his head, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. So interesting. The battle between Saiyan and Frieza Core is exciting to think about. Lewis returned to the Great Elder as soon as possible. The atmosphere in Namek was extremely depressing. All the Nameks gathered in the village of the Great Elder. They felt that a storm was coming. The Great Elder was relieved when he saw Lewis. Alternate gods of destruction, you are here. Lewis nodded. Let all the Namek people gather together, so that the war won't affect you later. I have gathered my people in my current village. That's fine. Don't worry, I'm here. Lewis took off into the air, hovering in midair, looking at the two warships in the atmosphere above. The hatch of the Frieza Core battleship opened. Frieza flew out in a baby carriage, emitting an extremely cold aura. Let's go, I want to see how strong Saiyan is now. Yes. Members of the Ginyu Force and the Frieza Corps flew out of the battleship one after another. Frieza's forces brought a total of 2,000 people this time. The hatch of the Saiyan warship opened. Frieza is right next to us, we must not let him take the Dragon Ball. King Vegeta flew in the front. Bardock, Bibert, Theodore and other Saiyan followed closely behind. This time, Saiyan dispatched a total of 1,500 Saiyans, almost the entire Saiyan clan. In the air, the two forces saw each other as soon as they flew out of the warship. The two forces are 2 kilometers apart. Oh wow! King Vegeta, how dare you take your people away from the Galactic Patrol headquarters? Who gave you the courage? Frieza flew down from the battleship and saw a group of Saiyans flying down from a distance. The one flying in the front was King Vegeta. At this time, Ginyu approached Frieza and whispered, King Frieza, should we destroy the Saiyan warship? Saiyans cannot survive in the universe, and without the universe battleships, they will be trapped in Namek. Frieza kept looking at King Vegeta in the distance without turning his head. You destroyed the Saiyan warships, and the Saiyans also destroyed our warships. Don't worry, they are dead anyway. Ginyu nodded, yes. Frieza, you still dare to speak nonsense when you are about to die. At this time, King Vegeta's voice came from the sky, and he led 1,500 Saiyans to fly towards Frieza. Frieza also flew towards King Vegeta with thousands of universe people. Oh, ho, you don't think you can fight me just because you've improved a little in the past few years, do you? Betrayer, wait for me to slaughter you. Betrayal, we can't be considered as betrayers. You have done so many evil things that you will be punished sooner or later. We Saiyan are just following the general trend. There was a verbal battle going on in the sky. Before the fight even started, the mere exchange of words made the atmosphere tense again. King Vegeta led the Saiyan and finally flew in front of Frieza's army. The Saiyans gnashed their teeth when they saw again the Emperor of the universe who once ruled them. The two forces are facing each other and the battle is about to break out. King Vegeta, tell me why you betrayed me. I want to know your real reason. Frieza hovered in the void, looking coldly at King Vegeta across from him. The real reason. Saiyan, who was sitting opposite him, couldn't help but feel confused when he heard this. In fact, they, the Saiyan, didn't know why King Vegeta made this decision back then. All they knew was that a distinguished guest came to King Vegeta's palace, and then the palace exploded inexplicably. King Vegeta then announced his decision to join the Galactic Patrol. It is also because of this decision that Saiyan has undergone the current changes. The reason for betraying you. King Vegeta smiled and said, to be honest with you, I was ordered to do this by someone you can't afford to offend. If I don't do this, my Saiyan clan will be the ones to die. Wow. As soon as these words came out, both the Frieza camp and the Saiyan camp were in an uproar. An existence that even Frieza can't afford to offend. You have to know that Frieza is the Emperor of the universe, who else can't he afford to offend? Is it him? When Frieza heard King Vegeta's words, he instantly remembered the Saiyan who broke into his headquarters 5 years ago. Apart from this candidate gods of destruction, he couldn't think of anyone else. It's not that there is no one in the universe that he can't afford to offend. In fact, the one he can't afford to offend is the legendary Majin Buu. As well as the real gods of destruction. In fact, it was Beerus who actually ordered King Vegeta, but Frieza would never think of this. He is Beerus' spokesperson, so how could Beerus order the Saiyan in his hands to betray him? King Vegeta, who is that person you are talking about? Frieza gritted his teeth. Didn't you guess it? It's that guy indeed. He clearly said he didn't care about Saiyan's affairs, but he ended up helping Saiyan secretly. Frieza was furious. He couldn't believe what the candidate gods of destruction said. Quote. King Vegeta was confused. Was Frieza saying that Beerus would not help Saiyan? Why did Beerus help Saiyan? One thought that it was Lewis who helped Saiyan, and the other wondered why Beerus helped Saiyan. The two were completely on different channels. King Vegeta shook his head. Frieza, even without that man's orders, we Saiyans will find a way to escape your control. Frieza clenched his fists. Why? At this time, Bardock stood up and said, Frieza, you don't think we don't know anything. Bardock, the strongest of the Saiyan clan right now, with a combat power of 150,000. Frieza looked at Bardock closely. Not bad. It's hard to imagine that you Saiyans have grown to this level in just a dozen years. Tell me, what am I afraid of? Frieza was in no hurry to act, wondering why these Saiyans were anxious to escape his control. Ha ha ha, haven't you always been afraid that our Saiyan clan will have the legendary Super Saiyan? Bardock's eyes were filled with fighting spirit as he looked at Frieza and laughed. Super Saiyan. The universe people of Frieza's faction didn't understand what this meant, but the Saiyans were immediately in an uproar when they heard this. Super Saiyan. Is this legend true? No wonder Frieza is wary of us. Fortunately, Vegeta made that decision in advance. Otherwise we will be killed by Frieza sooner or later. Quote. Frieza was silent. He really didn't expect that these Saiyan monkeys knew that he had always been afraid of that Super Saiyan. But Bardock was right. After he had used up the Saiyans, he would definitely destroy the Saiyan clan. I really got away with it with these Saiyans. Lewis was hovering over the Great Elder Village. Frieza and Saiyan were not far away, and the confrontation between the two sides could be seen clearly. Kakarot and Vegeta haven't arrived yet. Lewis looked carefully and found that Vegeta and the others were nowhere to be seen. Could it be that they arrived after the fight between Saiyan and Frieza's army was over? The distant horizon. The expressions of both camps became increasingly cautious. The atmosphere became increasingly solemn. Ready to go. HMPH, Ginyu, come on. Since they dare to come out of the Galactic Patrol headquarters, we should take this opportunity to kill them. Frieza's voice was filled with rage. Yes. Ginyu transformed into a purple light and flew towards the Saiyan clan. Theodore, kill Ginyu for me. King Vegeta waved his hand and gave the order. Yes. Theodore flew out of the crowd and rushed towards Ginyu. The two men fought quickly, and various shock waves flew everywhere, landing on the ground with earth-shaking explosions. The battle reached a fever pitch. Wounds continued to appear on both of them. Seeing such a fierce fight, Frieza frowned and pressed the detector. Ding ding ding. Combat power, 110,000. Combat power, 120,000. The 120,000 combat power naturally belongs to Ginyu, but what Frieza didn't expect was that the Saiyan named Theodore actually had 110,000 combat power. His combat power is worse than Ginyu's, but he still holds on. Hateful. Why did Saiyan suddenly become so powerful? Damn the alternate gods of destruction, it must be him. Frieza gritted his teeth, feeling extremely upset. He blamed everything on Lewis, but it had nothing to do with Lewis. Lewis had never helped the Saiyan people. Ha ha ha, so what if our combat power is a little low? We are a fighting nation. We will only become stronger in battle. King Vegeta clenched his fists and said excitedly, just wait, Ginyu is dead. This scene is so exciting, he is the captain of the Ginyu force. They Saiyan can really fight against it. All Saiyan's emotions were aroused and he was very excited. The following battle was just as King Vegeta said. Theodore became more and more fierce, and soon Ginyu was suppressed, and his injuries became more and more serious. Frieza's breathing quickened upon seeing this. He knew that Saiyans were a warlike race, but he didn't expect them to be so fierce. Pressed the detector. Ding ding ding. Combat power, 125,000. Combat power, 90,000 combat power. Frieza looked at the data, his chest rising and falling. Damn it. Due to continuous injuries, Ginyu's combat effectiveness has dropped to 90,000 combat power. Theodore became more and more powerful as the battle went on, and his combat power increased by 15,000. King Vegeta, you have succeeded in irritating me. Frieza flew out of the baby carriage before he could finish his words. Ginyu suddenly shouted, "Swap." Frieza was suddenly delighted. Could Ginyu still turn the situation around? In the sky, a white light appeared on Ginyu's body, and Theodore was quickly covered. If he looked, he would be hit. Go to hell. Bardock had already sensed something was wrong and gathered a shock wave to hit Ginyu. Boom. Ginyu was hit, and his body became twisted under the scorching heat. He didn't even have time to scream before he melted in Bardock's shock wave. Damn it, a sneak attack. Frieza was furious. Humph, we are already mortal enemies, who cares if we attack secretly or not? King Vegeta didn't waste any words and waved his hand. Everyone, come at me, this time we will directly wipe out Frieza's forces. The Saiyan leader gave the order, and the 1500 figures behind King Vegeta burst into white flames and attacked the people in Frieza's army. The two sides quickly entangled with each other. Boom. Namek kept ringing with explosions. The wind was howling, the mountains were collapsing, and the riverbed was collapsing. As if it were the twilight of the gods, Namek fell into darkness and turmoil. The village of the Great Elders. The battle site was not far from here, and the aftermath of the battle between Saiyan and Frieza's army quickly spread here. The great disaster predicted by the Great Elder has come. Oh my god, is this a power that a mortal can possess? We Namek are finished. The Namek people fell into endless panic. At this time, a purple light bloomed in the sky, and the aftermath of the battle coming from afar quickly dissipated as soon as it touched the purple light. What's going on? By the way, the Great Elder said that we Namek people will have a strong man to help us. It must be that strong man who took action. Lewis's action to protect the Namek people was not noticed by Frieza and King Vegeta. Lewis had broken through to the divine dimension a few days ago, and his power was also converted into divine power. Mortals cannot sense the existence of gods, and the detection devices made by mortals naturally cannot do so either. Chapter 32 Transformation into a Giant Ape. This is King Vegeta. The Saiyans and Frieza's troops were fighting. Only Bardock and King Vegeta remained motionless, and they stared at Frieza closely. Frieza, just surrender. Your men are no match for us Saiyans. Bardock said coldly. Frieza hovered in the air and glanced at his men who were dying. The strength of each Saiyan on the opposite side is more than 8,000 combat power, and there are more than a dozen Saiyan with a combat power of 100,000 watching on the sidelines. The members of the Ginyu force were killed in just a few rounds. It would be difficult for the other members of Frieza's army to resist. It was a one-sided massacre. Isn't it the candidate gods of destruction that you rely on? Frieza ignored his men and had a murderous look in his eyes. As long as I get the Dragon Ball, that candidate gods of destruction must die too. King Vegeta frowned. What does this have to do with Lewis? Bardock was even more confused. Who were the alternate gods of destruction? Boom. Frieza began to explode with power, and Namek was shaking. The terrifying power made King Vegeta tremble. Frieza really has a combat power of 530,000 as rumored. Bardock, be careful. Okay. King Vegeta, you must be ready to condense an artificial moon at any time. We definitely cannot defeat Frieza under normal circumstances. Bardock moved, he flashed in front of Frieza and punched him. Bang! The air exploded instantly, and the powerful force shattered the ground below, causing the lake water to flow back. The two fighting groups suddenly turned their heads, and the final battle was about to begin. Frieza was hit in the chest and said calmly, "Is this all the 150,000 combat power?" Snort. Bardock ignored Frieza's provocation. Since he had chosen to confront Frieza head-on, he had already prepared himself mentally. He quickly stepped back, gathering a powerful shockwave and blasting it at Frieza. Meanwhile, King Vegeta joins the battle. King Vegeta with 120,000 combat power and Bardock with 150,000 combat power, both besieged Frieza at the same time. The world lost its color. In the distance, Lewis shook his head. Compared to Bardock and King Vegeta, Frieza is still too strong. The combat power of more than 100,000 people in front of the combat power of 530,000 people seemed like an insurmountable chasm, and there was no hope of victory at all. Really? After fighting for only a short while, Bardock and King Vegeta were hit and slammed to the ground. King Vegeta ideographic, Bardock. After Bibert and Theodore finished off their opponents, they suddenly attacked Frieza. The same is true for other Saiyans with a combat power of 100,000. Bardock and the other man fell to the ground, spat out the blood in their mouths, and then soared into the sky again. For a while, 16 Saiyans with a combat power of over 100,000 are besieging Frieza. Boom! The magnetic fields of heaven and earth became chaotic, and thunder streaked across the clouds. When the Namek people saw this, it was as if they saw the end of the world. Fortunately, the purple shield protected them. Go to hell. In the sky, Bardock quickly flashed his body, condensing all his strength, and a shock wave rushed towards Frieza like a grey wolf. You rubbish, you still want to hurt me. Frieza used his knee to knock Bibert away, but he remained calm in the face of the incoming shock wave. Raise your hand and slap it hard. Bardock's blast instantly changed direction. Go to hell. The other Saiyan took advantage of this opening and attacked simultaneously. Within seconds, thousands of energy bombs hit Frieza. Boom! Boom! A huge explosion occurred where Frieza was, as if it was bombed by thousands of nuclear bombs. The air was filled with smoke and flames. Buzz! The space was trembling slightly at this moment. Ha-hoo, ha-hoo. He should be dead. He only has 530,000 combat power. If we have 16 people besieging him, he will definitely die. Bibert, Theodore and other Saiyans were all gasping for breath. Wrong. King Vegeta wiped the blood from his mouth and said in a serious tone, Frieza shouldn't be that simple. Bardock clenched his fists. Yes, if he was that easy to deal with, he wouldn't have been able to stay as the Emperor of the universe for so long. Suddenly, crash, a gust of wind blew by. The cloud of smoke in the air slowly dissipated, and a huge figure began to appear. Bardock's pupils shrank sharply. King Vegeta, use the artificial moon. As soon as the words fell, a purple light streaked across the sky. Bibert and the other Saiyan were suspended in midair, unable to react in time, and were hit directly. Puff! 16 Saiyan covered their abdomens and vomited blood. How is it possible? Theodore's eyes were full of disbelief. Ha ha ha, King Vegeta, do you know my true power? Frieza unlocked his first transformation, and his combat power skyrocketed to 1 million combat power. Frieza said fiercely, I now have 1 million combat power, let's see how you fight me. 1 million combat power. Bardock's heart skipped a beat. He had thought that Frieza's true strength was more than 530,000 combat power, but he didn't expect that Frieza's strength was as much as 1 million. This is trouble. There is a reason why Bardock is so panicked. They can transform into a giant ape to deal with Frieza. But not every Saiyan can remain sane in the giant ape state. Just like Bardock himself can't do it. There is no way a sensible giant ape could defeat Frieza. There is no doubt about this. Among the Saiyans present with a combat power of more than 10, the only ones who are considered superior fighters are King Vegeta, Bibert, and Theodore. Go to hell. Frieza roared, raised his hands high, and condensed an energy bomb with a diameter of 2 meters. He wants to wipe out the Saiyan clan in one fell swoop. Others, don't look at the sky, but Bibert and Theodore, look up. An artificial moon rose into the sky. King Vegeta was ready to condense the artificial moon before the battle. Lewis saw clearly the fight between King Vegeta and his friends and Frieza. Saiyan has really grown a lot in the past decade. The Frieza core is no match for the Saiyan. King Vegeta was seen throwing a dazzling ball of light into the sky. Transform into a giant ape. Far away in the sky, Lewis noticed his tail twitching constantly, and he didn't dare to look at King Vegeta anymore. Lewis looked up suddenly, sensing 4 auras rushing in from outside Namek. Those 4 auras were very familiar. Kakarot, Vegeta, you're finally here. Outside Namek, a medium-sized universe ship breaks into the atmosphere. Vegeta, can you sense it? Such a powerful energy. Son Goku clenched his fists and the blood in his body began to boil. I sensed it. Such an evil aura must have come from Frieza. During the years that Vegeta and his companions were on Earth, they also learned how to control and sense Kai. Vegeta looked at the ground below through the transparent glass of the spaceship. This aura is too terrifying. It should have a combat power of over 1 million. I don't know how my father and the others are doing now. 1 million combat power. Raditz was shocked. Then can we defeat Frieza? Nappa gritted his teeth and said, so what if we have a million combat power? If we transform into giant apes, we can also have a million combat power. Nappa just finished speaking. 3 violent auras suddenly appeared below Namek. Raditz, speed up for me. It must be my father transforming into a giant ape form. ... There is an artificial moon hanging in the sky above Namek. Roar, roar, roar. 3 terrifying roars resounded throughout the main battlefield. Bybert, Theodore, and King Vegeta transform into giant ape forms. The combat effectiveness has exceeded 1 million. The other Saiyans didn't dare to look at that moon, because they were not superior warriors and couldn't keep their sanity after transforming into giant apes. Bardock was the same. He didn't dare to look up and kept staring at Frieza in front of him. Ha ha ha, you can transform, and our Saiyan can transform too. What Bardock didn't know was that this wasn't a transformation for Frieza, but an unlocked form. Frieza, die. King Vegeta successfully transformed into a giant ape and remained sane. He, Bybert, and Theodore attacked Frieza at the same time. The sky is filled with lightning and thunder. The wind is raging. In the sky, 3 giant apes instantly wrestled with Frieza. The fight lasted for 10 minutes. The 3 giant apes were indeed very powerful, and every punch they threw made the space vibrate. But the gigantic ape is obviously slower than Frieza, and Frieza can easily dodge the gigantic ape's attacks. Fortunately, it's 3-1. With Bardock's occasional sneak attacks, King Vegeta's side did not fall into a disadvantage. Damn Saiyan monkey. Frieza dodged a punch and retreated 100 meters. He clenched his fists, furious. If it was just a giant ape with a combat power of 1 million, he wouldn't have to worry. He would even have no problem dealing with 2 giant apes at the same time. But the sudden appearance of 3 giant apes at the million level is a bit difficult to deal with. Frieza looked around again, and now all his men were dead. And no Saiyan was killed, only a few were seriously injured. Frieza, surrender. King Vegeta in his giant ape form flew in front of Frieza and stared at him. Bybert, Theodore, and Bardock circled on one side, forming a siege. Bardock, you were right before. I am indeed afraid of you Saiyans. Frieza looked at Bardock in front of him and said coldly. Now it seems that my fear was not unfounded. In that case, I will no longer hide my power. I will just kill you and then find the Dragon Ball and seek revenge on your candidate gods of destruction. Chapter 33 Frieza's final state. Sudden, boom. The sound of an engine resounded through the sky, and a spaceship was seen descending from the sky. At the same time, 4 figures flew towards this side quickly. Who? In the sky, Frieza was about to transform directly into his ultimate form, but he suddenly turned his head. Frieza, long time no see. Vegeta appeared here in the blink of an eye. Son Goku followed closely behind. He had been keeping an eye on Frieza when he arrived here, but suddenly saw Bardock. Stunned. Seeing this, Bardock was also stunned. It's as if time and space have stopped. Son Goku felt something strange in his heart. Ever since he grew up and matured, he knew that he was not from Earth, and he also knew that Raditz was his biological brother. According to Raditz, he also has a pair of parents. Is it the father? Son Goku flew in front of Bardock and opened his mouth. Kakarot, you're back. Bardock pursed his lips. He had a lot to say to his second son, but at the moment of recognition, he couldn't say it. Son Goku smiled. It turned out that his elder brother was right, he and his father really were exactly the same. It's just that my father now has 2 more scars on his face. When the father and son meet, on the other side. Vegeta, you didn't die despite being hunted by my army. Ha ha ha, thanks to you Frieza, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have the power I have now. Vegeta laughed loudly, and his 170,000 combat power exploded. Vegeta's great strength made King Vegeta in his giant ape form ecstatic, and he said, Vegeta, how much fighting power do you have now? This is his son. The stronger Vegeta is, the happier he is. Father, I now have 170,000 combat power. If I use all my strength, we will have 1.7 million combat power. Vegeta looked at his father and laughed. Upon hearing this, King Vegeta in the sky was ecstatic. If he could have a combat power of 1.7 million when he used his full strength, that must be when he transformed into a giant ape. Little did people know that Vegeta's full strength was the use of Kaioken. Kaioken is much stronger than gigantic ape state. Kaioken can not only increase the body's strength and speed, but also keep the body flexible. None of these can be compared to the state of the great apes. Is 1.7 million a strong fighting force? Frieza hovered in the air, folding his arms, as if the anger in his heart had disappeared. He intends to do his best. When he uses his full strength, no one in this universe can be his opponent, except for the substitute gods of destruction Beerus and Majin Buu. 1.7 million combat power is not strong enough. Ha ha ha, this is the funniest thing I have ever heard. Vegeta twisted his neck and said coldly. Frieza, there are 3 giant apes with a combat power of 1 million now, plus me and Kakarot. You are now facing 5 powerful men with a combat power of 1 million. Vegeta paused, then laughed. Are you ready to die? Etc. Bardock flew to the front, holding his severely injured abdomen, and asked in a serious tone, Frieza, you just said that you will no longer hide your strength. Isn't this your full strength? What? Vegeta was startled. He looked sharply at Frieza. King Vegeta, Bibert, and Theodore all looked at Frieza. The other Saiyans who had finished their battles also looked closely at Frieza. Frieza looked playful, as if acknowledging what Bardock said. How is that possible? It must be fake. There is still hidden power. I don't believe it. The 1500 Saiyans behind King Vegeta shouted, looking incredulous. Ha ha ha, then I'll be honest. This transformation is actually the first one I've unlocked. I can unlock this transformation twice more. Frieza clenched his fists and said with a ferocious look on his face, every time I unlock a transformation, it becomes stronger than the previous one. My ultimate state can have a combat power of 60 million. Frieza didn't tell the truth. In fact, he has an even more powerful transformation with a combat power of 120 million. But it's too physically demanding. This is also the reason why Frieza didn't tell the truth. Vegeta, are you ready to die? Frieza responded to Vegeta's words. Immediately following, Frieza mobilized the power in his body and began to explode. Stop him, whether he's lying or not, stop him now. Vegeta yelled with a look of horror on his face. Kakarot, quick points, 10x Kaioken. Boom. A red light exploded from Vegeta's body, and 1.7 million combat power gushed out. Father, you are seriously injured. Here is a magic bean. You can recover if you eat it. Son Goku stuffed a Senzu bean into Bardock's hand, and he also burst into a crimson glow. The pressure from the 2 million combat forces made the sky buzz. Bardock saw the Senzu beans in his hand and without hesitation, he crushed them and ate them. Crash! A cyclone erupted from him. Not only have my injuries recovered, but my strength has also increased. Bardock laughed. This thing was truly amazing. But now is not the time to think about these things. Bardock, like everyone else, began to burst out with strength. For a while, the 3 monkeys flew towards Frieza. Other Saiyans wanted to go up to help, but they received the order to retreat, so they could only hide aside. The same was true for Raditz and Nappa. Their combined strength was less than 100,000 combat power, so they had no choice but to retreat. Namek was shaking, the ground was cracking, and magma was rolling and gushing out. It's like the end of the world. Oh my god, is this power something a mortal can possess? Our Namek won't explode. The Namek people in the Great Elder village fell into panic. Lewis landed in front of the Great Elder's house and looked at Nairu. Tell the Great Elder to be ready to summon Shenron at any time. There is a high possibility that Namek will explode. Nalu hurriedly said, Mr. Candidate Gods of Destruction, with your power, you should be able to stop all this. Why don't you stop it? Sudden, an old voice came from the house. Nairu, follow the orders of the alternate gods of destruction. Yes. Nelu gritted his teeth and finally went to collect the Dragon Balls. Lewis flew up into the sky again and glanced at the Namek people in the village below. I can do it, but Kakarot might not be able to transform. I'm sorry, I'll have to sacrifice your Namek temporarily. I will make it up to you. Lewis muttered to himself. Then look into the distance. The 3 monkeys tried to stop Frieza from unlocking his transformation, but before they could get close to Frieza they were knocked over by a powerful blast of air. They threw energy bombs, but Frieza seemed to have a wall of air on him, blocking them. It can't hurt Frieza at all, so naturally it can't interrupt Frieza's transformation. Looks like Frieza is going to transform into his ultimate form. Lewis watched the battle with great interest. Son Goku is the strongest among the 3 monkeys in terms of both combat power and fighting skills. As for Bardock and the 3 giant apes, their fighting style and energy utilization were really terrible. As for Vegeta, it is obvious that he has become much more proficient in the use of Kai, and it can be seen that he and Son Goku are of the same lineage. They were all trained by Bobo. Only, Son Goku and Vegeta's fighting styles are still somewhat different. Vegeta is more violent, while Son Goku is more agile, as if he does whatever he wants and is strong without desire. Boom! An overwhelming breath came. It's time to enter the ultimate state. Lewis saw that Frieza's size was changing, getting smaller, but Frieza's strength was getting stronger. Frieza enters his ultimate state, and his strength recovers to 60 million combat power. A powerful force exploded from his body, and the air was squeezed together, making a sizzling sound. Frieza is like a prehistoric beast, and it is terrifying to look at. Saiyan, who was hiding far away, was so frightened that his face turned pale. Frieza is still strong. Kakarot, it depends on whether you can transform this time. You're the only one I can rely on. Lewis still hadn't shown up, he was still guarding the Namek people over the Great Elder Village. Horizon. Frieza turned into a dwarf, even shorter than Vegeta. But his power is terrifying. Any power that erupts unintentionally and penetrates into space can cause chaos. Gurgle. Bardock, who was confronting Frieza, swallowed hard. What a terrifying aura. 60 million combat power. King Vegeta shook his head frantically. How could this be possible? How could someone in the world possess such powerful strength? Do we still have a chance? Bibert and Theodore were stunned. Vegeta was also terrified. He had worked hard to cultivate to a combat power of 170,000, and using 10 times Kaioken he could have a combat power of 1.7 million. I thought I could get revenge. But who would have thought that Frieza actually has a combat power of 60 million? In particular, he could sense that what Frieza said was not a lie, and that Frieza really did possess a combat power of 60 million. You can't win. Vegeta's eyes were empty. He lost his fighting spirit before the fight even started, and he kept muttering. Sudden. Kakarot, what are you doing? Bardock yelled. Son Goku was seen flying forward. Son Goku looked at Frieza with fighting spirit in his eyes. What a powerful guy, it will be fun to fight you. This scene fell into Lewis's eyes, and Lewis smiled. The reactions of Son Goku and Vegeta are in stark contrast. Son Goku is still the same Son Goku. He never backs down when facing a strong enemy. And Vegeta is still the same Vegeta, always timid before he went through a series of hardships. Soon, Son Goku and Frieza started fighting. Bardock ran far away. If he didn't transform into a giant ape, his combat power would only be over 100,000, not even a fraction of Frieza's. If you go up there you will just be cannon fodder. So Bardock stayed away. King Vegeta and his three-headed giant apes rushed forward and besieged Frieza together with Son Goku. Only Vegeta remained motionless in midair. Vegeta used the Kaioken, and clearly had a combat power of 1.7 million, but now he seemed to have lost his soul, and no one had the slightest thought of resisting. Boom! The three giant apes were hit by the shock wave and let out heart-wrenching roars. Then it fell heavily to the ground, and three huge deep pits appeared immediately. Ha ha ha, damn Saiyan monkeys, let me see how you die. Frieza was extremely happy. He waved his hand lightly and Son Goku was beaten until he vomited blood. As long as he finds the Dragon Ball, the universe will be his. Hateful. Bardock, who was hiding in the distance, was furious when he saw his son being ravaged. Vegeta, you are the Saiyan Prince, are you just going to keep watching like this? If his strength wasn't so low that it would only make things worse, Bardock would have rushed up long ago. Vegeta remained unmoved. Vegeta, you're a piece of shit. Our Saiyan clan has already broken with Frieza, so what if he has 60 million combat power? Faced with the enemies of the Saiyan clan, you are actually afraid. Waste. As a Saiyan Prince, are you worthy of this status? Bardock was furious. He couldn't bear it any longer and was ready to look up at the moon in the sky. Vegeta's empty eyes flashed a light, and he muttered, I am a waste. Bardock, you're looking for death. Vegeta's eyes sparkled again and he clenched his fists. I'll settle the score with you later. Vegeta didn't look at Bardock, but yelled, 10x Kaioken. A red light burst out from his whole body, and then he rushed forward. Bardock was about to transform into a giant ape, but stopped when he saw what Vegeta did. But the worry in his eyes did not disappear, but became more solemn. Frieza is just too powerful. There is no hope for them Saiyan at all. Chapter 34 Son Goku transforms into Super Saiyan. Above the Great Elder's village. Oh, Vegeta is not scared anymore. Lewis found it amusing to see Vegeta taking action again. But even if you go up, Vegeta, it won't be any use. In the distant sky, the three giant apes flew up from the ground again, and besieged Frieza together with Son Goku and Vegeta. Just like Lewis said, Saiyan has no hope of winning this battle. Frieza is unlocked to the ultimate state, and his combat power of 60 million is really exaggerated. With just a slight move, Son Goku and the others began to spit blood. Frieza seemed to be toying with Son Goku and the others, not using his full strength. It's a hopeless battle unless Kakarot transforms into a Super Saiyan. Lewis shook his head. Ha ha ha, that's enough fun, go to hell. Frieza laughed maniacally. Fly into the sky. Suddenly it turned into a purple light and cut through the sky. The three apes and the other two below trembled violently. Boom! Bibert and Theodore exploded instantly. A huge hole appeared in the middle of King Vegeta's giant ape's body. Puff! King Vegeta spurted blood and fell from the void. Father, father! Vegeta's abdomen was soaked in blood, his internal organs were blown to pieces. So strong, I am no match for him at all. Son Goku wasn't much better, his entire body was covered in broken bones. Next, Son Goku and Vegeta also fell from the sky. Kakarot. Bardock from the distance flew over and caught King Vegeta, then caught Son Goku and Vegeta. Oh, Frieza laughed, I forgot there are still some fish that slipped through the net. Then you guys should die too. Frieza looked at Bardock, and the 1,500 Saiyans in the distance. He raised his hand and condensed an energy bomb with a diameter of 2 meters. Throw it with all your might. The entire sky was covered in purple light. The group of Saiyans brought by King Vegeta were unable to move due to the powerful pressure. This is a clan being wiped out in one fell swoop. Bardock couldn't care less, as he was the only one who was still able to fight. After he put Son Goku and Vegeta down, he looked towards the artificial moon in the sky. Roar! A mad ape was wreaking havoc, spitting out laser beams and accidentally detonating Frieza's energy bomb in midair. Laser beams would occasionally pass over where Frieza was. Saiyan monkeys are so disgusting. Frieza dodged the laser beams and flew towards Bardock, who had transformed into a giant ape. Above the Great Elder's village. How so? Lewis looked into the distance, his expression becoming solemn. According to the anime plot, Son Goku will transform into a Super Saiyan during this journey to Namek. But now all the Saiyan brought by King Vegeta, including Son Goku, are about to die. No chance. If Lewis doesn't take action, all the Saiyans will die. But a scene in the distance made Lewis stop. Frieza was seen flying towards Bardock. Ha ha ha, Frieza, you're looking for death. Lewis laughed. He thought Son Goku had no chance to transform. After all, Son Goku did not bring bald Krillin with him. But Frieza's action will undoubtedly push himself into the abyss. Lewis glanced at Son Goku on the ground in the distance and saw him stuffing a senzu bean into his mouth. Look at the scene where Bardock is being brutalized by Frieza again. If Bardock is sacrificing himself to heaven, won't Son Goku go berserk? Really? Frieza begins to torture Bardock. First, he broke Bardock's limbs in the giant ape state, and then stuffed an energy bullet into Bardock's mouth. Boom! Bardock's entire head was blown to pieces. The famous scene is coming. No. A powerful force exploded in Son Goku. Recovering from near death. The strength breaks through to 5 million combat power. Son Goku saw his father being murdered by Frieza, and rage filled his entire mind. The violent factors in my body are rioting and my back is burning. Ah, father. Frieza, you killed my father. I want you dead. Thunder streaked across the sky, and the rubble on the ground flew uncontrollably around Son Goku. Son Goku's aura and hair were flickering. One gold and one black. The flashing frequency keeps increasing. What's going on? After Frieza killed Bardock, he was frightened by the momentum. You're not dead yet. Frieza was stunned when he saw the power that was bursting out from Son Goku. He clearly beat Son Goku to the point of almost dying. Why is this guy alive again? Super Saiyan. Vegeta, who was lying on the ground dying, saw Son Goku's appearance and made a weak voice. Carrot, you must kill Frieza. After saying that, Vegeta died. King Vegeta was lying next to Vegeta. King Vegeta had turned back into human form, but he was no longer breathing. Vegeta. Ah! Son Goku clenched his fists, veins bulging. The golden flame no longer flickers. Crash! Son Goku's golden hair color has stabilized. Super Saiyan. Frieza, I'm going to kill you. Boom! A golden light flashed by, and Frieza was hit in the abdomen. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and was thrown sideways for 1,000 meters. No. Impossible. What state are you in? Super Saiyan. How can it be Super Saiyan? ... Above the Great Elder Village, Lewis saw this and his body trembled continuously, finally seeing this scene. So exciting. Since Son Goku successfully transformed, there is no doubt that Frieza will lose. Lewis' instant transmission disappeared, and he finally left the Great Elder Village. On the other side, this place is quite far from where Son Goku and Frieza are fighting. Raditz knelt on the ground and made a heart-wrenching sound. My father is dead. Frieza, I'm going to kill you. Raditz stood up and flew into the sky. Raditz, wait for me, Vegeta was also killed, I want to avenge Vegeta. Nappa rushed forward. I want to avenge the leader too. I want to go too. The 1,500 Saiyans on the ground were filled with hatred. They hated themselves for being so weak. They hated themselves for letting King Vegeta and Bardock deal with Frieza alone while they were hiding behind. A group of Saiyans prepared to take off and kill Frieza. Sudden. Okay, stop. Lewis instantly appeared in the air and stopped everyone's actions. Who are you? Gracie stepped forward. He was the most powerful Saiyan among all the Saiyans present. Possesses a combat power of 90,000. King Vegeta, Bardock and Bibert are not here, so Gracie is the supreme commander here. Lewis, why are you here in Namek? In the crowd, Raditz and Nappa stood out, ecstatic. Luis, Vegeta was killed by Frieza, you have to avenge Vegeta. Nappa cried when she saw Lewis appear. Others may not know Lewis's identity, but Raditz and Nappa have always been with Vegeta and have long known that Lewis is the candidate gods of destruction. The candidate gods of destruction are disciples of the strongest in the universe. If he comes here, Frieza will be dead. When Gracie heard Lewis's name, she suddenly remembered something. Lewis was a senior warrior of the Saiyan clan, but he died while on a mission more than 10 years ago. Lewis was stunned. Am I dead? He smiled helplessly and said, I'm not dead. Okay, now you listen to me and leave Namek first. Gracie said coldly, I'll listen to you, who do you think you are? Not finished yet. Lewis gathered a blast of destructive energy and pointed it in front of Gracie's eyes. Bardock's son Kakarot has transformed into the legendary Super Saiyan. Kakarot is fighting Frieza right now. Namek will explode soon. I will take you away from Namek now. Raditz asked hurriedly, Lewis, did Kakarot really transform into a Super Saiyan? Lewis nodded, yes, Frieza is dead. As for Bardock and the others, they can still be resurrected with Dragon Ball, so don't worry. Lewis looked at Gracie again, do you have any opinions now? No. No problem. Gracie swallowed his saliva. He felt that if he was hit by the purple energy, he would probably be killed without leaving any trace. The other Saiyans hear Kakarot transforming into the legendary Super Saiyan and fighting Frieza. Suddenly cheered. They came to Namek to stop Frieza from getting the Dragon Ball. As long as they defeat Frieza, the Dragon Ball can be used by them, which means King Vegeta and the others can really be resurrected. Saiyan is saved. Hold hands. Namek is about to explode. Come on, I'll get you out of here. Soon, Lewis used instant transmission to bring Saiyan back to the Galactic Patrol headquarters in one go. He then returned to Namek. Chapter 35 Killing Frieza. At this point, the image of Namek is very horrifying. Lightning and thunder. The wind is raging. The mountains and rivers are shattered. Magma is erupting. Various planetary disasters are taking place on Namek, which is like hell on Earth and is terrifying to watch. Bang! Bang! Two figures streaked across the sky, and their collision created a powerful cyclone that squeezed out a vacuum zone from the void. Countless air currents flowed back here, and a hurricane with a diameter of 1 kilometer suddenly appeared. Frieza, die! Son Goku seemed to exceed the speed of light, and appeared in front of Frieza the next second, kicking him hard. The void seemed to be about to explode. Frieza was hit in the abdomen and hunched over, with blood spurting out of his mouth. The powerful force threw Frieza into the air. Frieza, return my father's life to me. Son Goku's whole body was shining with golden light, like a golden streak passing through the void, and appeared in the sky. Clench your hands together to form a sledgehammer. He smashed down hard towards Frieza, who was thrown up. Boom! The force of thunder penetrated through Son Goku's hands and into Frieza's back. Frieza vomited blood again and let out a heart-wrenching roar. Frieza smashed straight into the ground, creating a deep pit with a diameter of 100 meters. After Son Goku transformed into Super Saiyan, his power broke through to 250 million combat power. 250 million combat forces versus 60 million combat forces. No suspense. Frieza was no match at all and he kept getting beaten up. Son Goku's massacre of Frieza continues, while Lewis is on this side. He returned to the village of the Great Elders. The entire village was covered in a purple light, and the aftermath of the battle outside would be destroyed when it reached here. But, as Son Goku and Frieza fight, things go from bad to worse for Namek. Now the ground in the village where the Great Elder is located has exploded. Alternate gods of destruction. Nairu came to Lewis and asked hurriedly, "Our Namek is about to explode, what should we do now?" "I'm sorry. I promised to help you through this difficult time. If I had helped, Namek wouldn't have to be in the current situation. But for some reasons, I'm really sorry." Lewis said with a guilty look on his face. "Get ready to summon Shenron." Nelu glanced at Lewis and clenched his fists. He was very angry. "Nelu, listen to the orders of the alternate gods of destruction." The voice of the Great Elder came from the room. Yes. Nelu gritted his teeth and could only obey Lewis's orders. The Dragon Ball was placed on the ground. Nairu prepares to summon Shenron. Sudden, a terrifying force was coming towards this side. It's Frieza's power. Lewis could clearly sense that Frieza seemed to have unleashed his full strength, which was 120 million combat power. But, after Frieza burst out with this power, he quickly weakened. Obviously, the combat power of 120 million is not enough compared to the combat power of 250 million. In fact, if Frieza had used all his strength from the beginning, he might have had a chance. Because Son Goku had just transformed into a Super Saiyan and didn't have enough control over the power in his body. Pity. Frieza was too arrogant, thinking that Super Saiyan only sounded powerful, but by the time Son Goku became familiar with the power in his body, he really had no chance at all. Boom. Namek's trembling increased. It seemed like it would explode in the next second. Lewis felt a little regretful. He should have brought Whis with him so that he wouldn't have to use someone else's Dragon Ball. Not that guilty. Summon Shenron. Lewis looked at Nairu. Nalo nodded and said to the Dragon Ball on the ground, #+%. A golden light shot up into the sky, and the wheel hovered in the air. "Greetings, Lord Alternate Gods of Destruction." Balloonjia greeted respectfully. Lewis nodded and quickly asked Nairu to make a wish, let Namek return to the way it was a day ago. Time was running out, and Namek was shaking more and more. In Lewis's perception, Frieza, the sinister villain, used a planet-destroying bomb just like in the anime. In another 5 minutes, Namek would surely explode. Nairu spoke in Namek. "This wish is simple." In the sky, Balunga's eyes lit up, and then Namek began to change. The magma returns to the center of the earth. The broken mountains and rivers are reunited. The wind disappeared. The thunder calmed down. Namek returned to the way he was a day ago. "Nairu, I'm going to go kill Frieza first. I have 2 more wishes to make when I come back." Lewis disappeared in an instant, leaving only Nilu and the dumbfounded Parenga in the sky. Ha-hoo, ha-hoo. In midair, Son Goku clenched his fists and was stunned when he saw the changes in Namek. Wasn't Namek hit by Frieza's planet-destroying bomb and will explode in 5 minutes? How so? Son Goku, why is this happening? On the ground, Frieza's tail was broken, his body was covered with wounds, and he was dying. Son Goku knew what Frieza meant, of course, but he had no idea why Namek had recovered. Preparing to kill Frieza. At this time, with a swish sound, Lewis' instant transmission appeared in front of Frieza. In the sky, Son Goku recognized Lewis. "Lewis, why are you here?" Son Goku descended from the sky and came in front of Lewis. Lewis turned his head and looked at the protagonist of Dragon Ball. Blonde. Super Saiyan state. The Force has a combat power of 250 million. I've been here just to see you transform into a Super Saiyan. You've been here all this time. Son Goku grabbed his shoulders and said angrily, "Since you are here, why don't you take action? With your strength, you should be able to kill Frieza easily." He already knew about Lewis's power and identity from Vegeta. There are very few people in the universe who can be Lewis's opponent. I'll explain this to you later. Lewis pointed at Frieza, who was about to die on the ground, and said, Kakarot, are you going to let this guy go? Son Goku looked at Frieza and gritted his teeth. No, I won't let him go. He killed my father and Vegeta. I must make him die. Question mark. Lewis was stunned. He actually wanted to kill Frieza. In the anime, didn't Son Goku give Frieza a breath at the last moment? It seems to be affected by the butterfly effect. Let me kill him. Lewis waved his hand, raised it, and condensed a destructive energy. Buzz. The heaven and earth shook. Frieza on the ground was vomiting blood and was speechless when he saw Lewis, the candidate gods of destruction. But it is obvious that Frieza hates Lewis. If looks could kill, Lewis would have been killed countless times by Frieza. Lewis raised his hand, but the destructive energy in his hand did not blast out, and paused for a while. Never mind. Lewis shook his head, revoked the destructive energy, and used Ki Blast to blast Frieza into ashes. Although Frieza is hateful, he might be useful in the future, just like the Tournament of Power in the anime. That's why Lewis didn't sabotage Frieza. After Frieza was killed, Son Goku was very depressed. Lewis, if you had helped, my father and Vegeta would not have died. Lewis turned to look at Son Goku and smiled. Can't you be resurrected after you die? Have you forgotten about Dragon Ball? Dragon Ball. Son Goku's eyes lit up and he grabbed Lewis and shook him around. I almost forgot. This is great. Now my father and Vegeta can be resurrected. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 36, Quitella's Sneak Attack. Come on, I've summoned Shenron, follow me. Lewis used instant transmission and took Son Goku away from here. Soon returned to the Great Elder's village. A green western Shenron was hovering in the sky. That Shenron looked very strange. He was sweating all over, as if he was holding back a bowel movement. Do you have any other wishes? If you don't tell me, I can't hold on any longer. With a swish, Lewis appeared here with Son Goku. Son Goku was shocked when he saw the wave of wheels in the sky. This is Namek Shenron. He can bring your father back to life. Don't worry. Lewis turned his head and said, Piranga, revive Burdock. Nelu saw Lewis coming back, so he quickly spoke again in Namek language. In the sky, Balunga's body became increasingly transparent. Alternate gods of destruction, I'm sorry, but Burdock's body is damaged, so this wish cannot be granted. Hearing this, Son Goku's face turned pale. Lewis, it's bad. When I was fighting Frieza, magma erupted from the ground and swallowed up my father and Vegeta's bodies. They won't be able to be resurrected. Is that so? Lewis frowned and said, Poronya, restore Frieza's murderous Saiyan body in Namek. Son Goku was stunned, then grabbed Lewis's shoulders, shook him, and laughed. Lewis, you're so smart. Since Namek Shenron said that without a body, the dead cannot be resurrected. Wouldn't it be possible to restore Burdock and the others' bodies first, and then resurrect them? Candidate gods of destruction, your wish has been granted. As soon as Balungia finished speaking, 5 corpses appeared on the ground. Burdock, Vegeta, King Vegeta, Bibert, and Theodore. Lewis, their bodies are back to health. Son Goku is very happy. Sudden. Don't talk yet. Lewis suddenly had a bad feeling, sensed something, and his pupils shrank sharply. He then took off into the air, and when he was halfway up, he turned around and shouted to Naru, Naru, make a wish for everyone on Namek, including these 5 bodies, to be transferred to Earth, quickly. Lewis shouted directly, his voice was very anxious. Nelu was startled, he had no idea what was happening, but he did it anyway. But before Nelu could finish his wish, a destructive energy bomb with a diameter of 1 kilometer suddenly appeared in the sky. This destructive energy was like a purple sun falling from the sky. Boom! The void was shattered, and pieces of space fragments fell down, and the hole in the void quickly healed back. If this destructive energy were to fall on Namek, the star field within 1,000,000 miles would probably collapse. Lewis can run, and can take Son Goku and Naru away. But the Namek people are definitely dead. Lewis already felt guilty towards Namek, and if he let Namek die in front of him. No matter what, Lewis doesn't want to. Mad, Quitella, just wait. If Lewis was not mistaken, it must be Quitella's doing. A ball of golden energy suddenly burst out from his body, and his hair turned golden in an instant. Super Saiyan. Then instant transmission appeared under the falling destructive energy bomb. Hold it up. Bang. The destructive aura emitted by the destructive energy squeezed out a vacuum zone in the sky. Open black lens bracket immunity close black lens bracket. All negative effects applied to Lewis were instantly cleared by immunity. Lewis was not hurt, but with his current strength, he was unable to withstand the destructive energy bomb falling down. Being pressed down, Lewis's body fell rapidly toward the ground of Namek. Friction from the air, flames appeared on Lewis's body, and he was descending faster and faster. When it is about to touch the ground, the body of Parenga disappeared instantly, and then everyone on Namek, including the 5 corpses on the ground, disappeared. Buzz. Namek was hit by destructive energy, and the star field within billions of miles collapsed instantly, forming a huge black hole of nothingness, billions of miles beyond the star field. Master Quitella, aren't you afraid that Beerus will cause you trouble if you do this? Angel Cornic hovered in the dark starry sky, holding a staff, looking at Quitella beside him. Quitella stared at the black hole of nothingness and said coldly, so what if Beerus knows? Master Zeno has ordered that the gods of destruction are not allowed to fight each other. Beerus doesn't dare to fight me, or Lord Zeno will definitely wipe him out. Besides, I already have a grudge against that guy. I can't let go of such a talented genius, otherwise he will definitely come to trouble me in the future. He was deeply impressed by the scene of Lewis, competing, with the substitute gods of destruction. At around 20 years old, he broke through to the divine dimension. He also realized the destructive energy and the angel-level freedom state. Quitella turned to look at Cornic. Didn't you ask Whis about that kid? Cornic narrowed his eyes and said, Whis said this is Lewis's innate skill, which can ignore all damage. Ignore all harm. Quitella chuckled. Do you think that kid Lewis can escape from the destructive energy I just used? Quote. Cornic remained silent. He felt that Lewis could really escape, but he was afraid that Quitella would be unhappy if he said it. He still remembers what his eldest sister said when she left the 7th universe. Lewis is a very special guy, I can't see through him, and there was also the sacred aura that swept across Xeno universe and the mysterious Earth. His eldest sister said, and then went to Xeno Palace to find his father to ask for clarification, and the other angels followed her. Only he couldn't get away, because Quitella wanted to lurk in the 7th universe and destroy the hope of the 7th universe. Let's go, or Beerus will come. Quitella said lightly. Yes. Cornic waved his staff and took Quitella away. Next second, sure enough, 2 figures appeared here. Quitella, you are awesome. Beerus was furious, and the pressure he unleashed made the entire northern galaxy tremble. Whis, get this place back together. Yes. Whis waved and found that the surrounding black holes of nothingness suddenly recovered, and the destroyed Namek also recovered. Whis, take me to the 4th universe. The 2 disappeared. Chapter 37 Gift of Spiritual Fruits. On Earth, Dongdu Plain. Lewis, Son Goku, and all the Namek people were all teleported here. The Great Elder sat on the ground, looking at the unfamiliar surroundings, and asked in confusion, alternate gods of destruction, what happened? Son Goku swallowed and said, what was that attack just now? It was so scary. Nelu wiped the sweat off his face and said, I was really scared. The other Namek who had moved here were also afraid. Great Elder, I'm sorry, I have caused you trouble. Lewis gritted his teeth. He had broken through to the divine dimension and could already sense the presence of gods. The destructive energy bomb was thrown by Quitella. Damn, no wonder Beerus hates that dead rat so much, it's so insidious. You wait here. I will find someone to restore your Namek and then take you back. Anything hit by the destructive energy cannot be restored by ordinary Shenron. The only ones who can do this, besides Super Shenron, are angels, time travel. Before 2 minutes were up, Lewis disappeared with a swish. Soon, Lewis found Whis who had just returned from the 4th universe. Lewis asked Whis to help him restore Namek, but Whis said it had already been restored. Lewis returned to the side of the Great Elder. Nairu asked hurriedly, how is the candidate gods of destruction? Your Namek has recovered. Lewis smiled and looked at the Great Elder. Great Elder, I will send you back now. Okay, please, Mr. Gods of Destruction. The Great Elder was held hand in hand with the Namek people, and Lewis used instant teleportation to lead everyone back to Namek. At first glance, Namek was unscathed. The Namek people who returned here were stunned. Could it be that this candidate gods of destruction used Dragon Ball again? Great Elder, to express my apology to you, I will give you something. Lewis took out 3 universal capsules from his pocket and opened one of them. Bang! A 200 cubic meter warehouse appeared on the ground, filled with gray-green fruits. The Great Elder asked in confusion, Master Alternate Gods of Destruction, what is this? These fruits are called spiritual fruits. They are fruits eaten by gods and spirits. They can increase a person's lifespan. In fact, in addition to increasing lifespan, spiritual fruits can also increase a person's strength dramatically. However, the surge in power is limited. Compared with one's lifespan, this amount of power is nothing. Lewis said apologetically, I didn't do what I promised you before, so take this as my apology. Spiritual fruits are the fruits that gods eat. They grow in places where gods live. There are many of them in the world of gods of destruction. Lewis has been eating them since he was a child. Useless. The Great Elder was slightly horrified. Please take back the candidate gods of destruction. This is unacceptable. Lewis said calmly, okay, what I gave away, I won't take back. In the anime, the Great Elder passed away after the Namek explosion due to exhaustion of his lifespan. The Elder was kind and friendly, and Lewis was indebted to him, so he couldn't turn a blind eye to this. Besides, these spiritual fruits are nothing to Lewis. Nero, you must remember to let the Great Elder eat these spiritual fruits. After eating the spiritual fruits in this warehouse, he should be able to increase his lifespan by a few hundred years. Ah! Nelu was stunned, then ecstatic. The other Nameks were equally excited. The Great Elder is their father, and he is very old. To put it bluntly, he may pass away at any time. In fact, they have the Dragon Ball, and if they make a wish, they can restore the Elder's youth. But this is against nature. The Great Elder would definitely not allow them to do this. If eating these fruits can increase lifespan, it would be different from making a wish with a Dragon Ball, and the Great Elder would definitely accept it. Lewis gave the remaining 2 universal capsules to Nelu and then left Namek. Earth, Taiza's backyard. Bulma was heartbroken as she looked at Vegeta's body lying on the ground. Woo woo woo. Vegeta, how did you die? Bulma pulled Son Goku by the collar. Goku, who killed Vegeta? Why didn't you protect him? Bulma, I'm sorry. Son Goku gritted his teeth and said, it was me who failed to protect him, but don't worry, we can use the Dragon Ball to revive Vegeta and my father. Yeah, we still have Dragon Ball. Bulma just remembered Dragon Ball at this time, and she was about to get the Dragon Ball radar. With a swish sound, Lewis suddenly appeared here. Tazy, who was standing by, came over in a hurry and felt around. She found that Lewis was not hurt and breathed a sigh of relief. Where have you been for the past month? You scared me to death. Don't worry, don't you know my physique? Lewis held Taiz in his arms, feeling the warmth of her body and her heartbeat. He hadn't seen Taiz for a month and missed her terribly. At this time, brother-in-law, you have to avenge Vegeta. Bulma came over. Lewis let go of Tazy and comforted her, don't worry, Vegeta will be fine. Also, the murderer who killed Vegeta has been killed by me. Lewis looked at Whis lying on the beach chair. Whis, help me revive these 5 people so I don't have to look for Dragon Ball. Whis okay. Bulma was stunned. Even Taiz was confused. She knew Whis knew a lot and was very powerful, but could he resurrect a person? You really bother me with everything. Whis stood up from the beach chair and waved his staff. Buzz. A ray of holy light passed across the 5 corpses on the ground. Sudden. Where is this place? Where's Frieza? The 5 corpses slowly opened their eyes. Bulma cried with joy and hugged Vegeta on the ground. Vegeta. Son Goku and Tazy were stunned. They could revive a person without summoning Shenron. Lewis smiled slightly, resurrecting a person with a corpse is nothing. At the end of the Tournament of Power in the anime, Whis directly resurrected Frieza in soul form. Lewis, after you have dealt with your business, come back to the Gods of Destruction world. Whis said, and then disappeared. Lewis saw Whis disappear, but didn't see Beerus. Where is Beerus? Did he go back to the world of Gods of Destruction? Bulma. On the ground, Vegeta woke up and was a little dazed, looking at Bulma who was holding him. Am I not dead? It was my brother-in-law who asked Whis to revive you. Bulma lay on top of him, her eyes red. At this time. Hiss. Burdock, King Vegeta, Bibert and Theodore beside them also woke up. We're not dead. That's not right. I remember that Bibert and I were both blown to pieces by Frieza. Suddenly, King Vegeta saw Lewis's figure and his pupils shrank sharply. Lewis, did you save us? King Vegeta shook his head again. No, you said you wouldn't care about Saiyan's affairs, how could you have saved us? King Vegeta, who is he? Until now, Bardock and Bibert still find it difficult to be confident that they can be resurrected. But who is this person in front of me? King Vegeta walked in front of Lewis and kept looking at him without turning his head. Bardock, I told you before that we Saiyans actually have another strong man, but that strong man has never paid attention to us. Yes, you did. Bardock looked at King Vegeta's back, nodded, and suddenly his body was shocked. Could it be that the person King Vegeta was looking at was the powerful man? Etc. He has a tail, he is really Saiyan. Bibert and Theodore said, King Vegeta, is this the strong man you mentioned? Why have we never seen him before? Vegeta said, you have seen it. Have you forgotten that more than a decade ago, our Saiyan clan had a senior warrior named Lewis? Bibert and the other two suddenly realized that there really was a superior warrior named Lewis. It's just that King Vegeta said that Lewis died while performing a mission. Actually, he's not dead. He left planet Vegeta a long time ago. He was accepted as a disciple by the most powerful god in the universe. Now that he's here, there's a good chance that he's the one who saved us. Hearing this, Bardock, Theodore and Bibert breathed a sigh of relief. To be accepted as a disciple by the most powerful god in the universe. Since he has such status, why doesn't he come to help Saiyan? Taizi, Bulma and Son Goku next to them also found out that this was Lewis's previous experience. Chapter 38 Beerus goes to the fourth universe. Hearing this, Vegeta looked weird. Lewis didn't ignore Saiyan. Didn't he have Dr. Briefs build a gravity chamber for Son Goku? Also take him and Son Goku to King Kai to learn Kaioken and Spirit Bomb. Lewis stood in front of everyone, being looked at by everyone, and said nothing. His expression was calm. I know you have a lot of doubts, so I will tell you why I don't care about Saiyan. Frieza is the spokesperson for Beerus-sama. During the time when Beerus-sama is asleep, Frieza will destroy the planet. Just because of your existence, the Frieza core has become more and more arrogant, its power has spread faster and faster, and it has destroyed more and more planets. Whether it is a qualified planet or an unqualified planet, it will be destroyed by you. This has had a huge impact on the stability of the universe, so you have angered Lord Beerus very early on. Lord Beerus didn't destroy you because of me. As for why I don't care about you. Lewis paused for a moment and said, I am the alternate gods of destruction. The voice was very plain, but it sounded like thunder to everyone's ears. Yes. Beerus originally intended to kill the Saiyan clan, but Saiyan was spared from death because of Lewis's face. The alternate gods of destruction are the successors of the gods of destruction. The alternate gods of destruction must obey the will of the gods of destruction. Lewis naturally can't care about Saiyan anymore. Also, the gods are ruthless, and Lewis certainly cannot interfere too much in the development of the world. Now that they can be resurrected, it must be because of Lewis's help. He interfered with the development of the mortal world, and Beerus will definitely blame them in the future. King Vegeta's face was filled with shame, he had wronged Lewis. Bardock and the others were initially angry when they heard that Lewis was a Saiyan strongman and a fellow tribesman, but he ignored the Saiyan. But now, after hearing the explanation, my ears are burning and I feel ashamed. It's not that others don't care about Saiyan, but that others have to stick to their duties as gods. Lewis had no idea what everyone was thinking. If you knew, you would definitely laugh out loud. What he just said was true, but more importantly, Lewis simply didn't want to care about them. But, no matter what happened in the past, Saiyan is different now. Lewis said, well, now that you are all resurrected, I have to go back to the gods of destruction world first. When Whis left, he didn't see Beerus, so Lewis guessed that Beerus might have gone to the fourth universe. He had to go back and check. King Vegeta asked hurriedly, Lewis, how are our other Saiyans doing now? Just ask Kakarot about these. After saying that, Lewis disappeared with ties. Everyone looked at Son Goku. Son Goku told everything that happened on Namek. He transforms into Super Saiyan. Saiyan was sent back to the Galactic Patrol headquarters by Lewis. Frieza was killed by Luis. They were resurrected by Whis. After hearing everything, several Saiyans swallowed their saliva. Super Saiyan. Kakarot, are you serious? Did you really transform into a Super Saiyan? It's no wonder that everyone is so excited. You know, Super Saiyan is a legend of the Saiyan clan. Frieza attacked Saiyan because he was worried about the appearance of Saiyan's legend. Hearing this news now, no Saiyan can remain unexcited. Besides, if this is true, does that mean they can also transform into Super Saiyan? Everyone's faces were about to hit his face, and Son Goku felt a little uncomfortable and took a step back. Son Goku touched his head and smiled. Lewis said that state is called Super Saiyan, but I don't know if it is true. Seeing him so silly, everyone was speechless. Vegeta yelled, Kakarot, transform for us to see, quick. He remembered that he seemed to see a blonde and blue-eyed figure before he died. Bardock suppressed his excitement and said, yes, Kakarot, just transform and let us see. Unlike everyone else, Bardock believed 80% of what Son Goku said. Because he had a premonition before. His second son will transform into a Super Saiyan. Okay, move aside and let me try. Son Goku stepped aside and King Vegeta and the others quickly made way. Bulma is also intrigued by this so-called Super Saiyan. Suddenly, all eyes were on Son Goku. But after a while, Son Goku still hasn't changed at all. Kakarot, what's wrong with you? I can't seem to change. Son Goku looked at everyone with a strange expression. Vegeta said, you have changed, haven't you? Why can't you change? Bardock said, are you too nervous? Try again. King Vegeta, Bibert and the others nodded and told Son Goku to try again. Okay, I'll try again. Son Goku tries again. After a while, it still didn't work. This time even he was stunned. When Namek saw his father being killed, he was so angry that he successfully transformed. Why can't he do it now? King Vegeta frowned and asked, Kakarot, you are not lying to us, are you? Bibert, Theodore and the others all looked at Son Goku with suspicion. Son Goku frowned and said, I didn't lie to you, I was the one who defeated Frieza. Bardock said incredulously, you defeated Frieza? Yes, but it was Lewis who killed Frieza in the end. Don't you believe me? Son Goku was getting a little anxious. It seemed like everyone was doubting him. But when he transformed, everyone died. He couldn't transform now, and Lewis left in such a hurry, he really couldn't explain it. At this time, Vegeta came forward and said seriously, Kakarot, I believe you. He paused for a moment and continued, before I died, I saw a golden figure. I must not be mistaken. When Vegeta said this, the others were stunned at first, and then jumped up excitedly. It's developed. Bardock was already hugging King Vegeta, his face filled with excitement. Saiyan legends are true. Then they will definitely be able to transform in the future. Gods of Destruction World. With a swish sound, two figures appeared by the lake. Tazy jumped off Lewis and asked in confusion, Lewis, why are you back here again? I'm back for Master Beerus. Lewis walked towards the Palace of Destruction and found no one inside. Is he really going to the fourth universe to cause trouble for Quitella? Whis. Lewis looked up and shouted. The palace echoed with his voice. When the sound disappeared, Whis did not respond to him. Lord Beerus, please don't mess around. Lewis looked anxious. Now he was sure that it was Beerus who asked Whis to take him to the fourth universe. Quitella attacked him, and Beerus must have wanted to avenge him. Zeno stipulates that gods of destruction cannot fight each other. If Beerus and Quitella fight, it will be a felony. No, I must stop him. Lewis paced back and forth in the palace anxiously. Beerus usually seemed impatient with him, but Lewis knew that Beerus actually cared about him. He was really touched that someone stood up for him this time. Lewis, what's wrong with you? I'm thinking about how to get to the fourth universe. It is actually not that easy to leave the seventh universe and go to the fourth universe. There are barriers between universes that are almost impossible for mortals to break. Lewis's current strength, although his realm has broken through to the level of gods, his strength has not yet reached the realm of gods. It's really hard to break the universe barrier. Other universes. Tazy has been in the gods of destruction world for so long that she already knows the structure of the universe. It turns out there is not just one universe in the world, but 11. Lewis, why don't you go ask the old Supreme Kai? Tazy remembered that Lewis told her that there was a Supreme Kai from ancient times in the 7th universe, and that old Supreme Kai must know a lot of things. Maybe the old Supreme Kai knows how to leave the 7th universe. Yes. Lewis was ecstatic. He picked up Ties and kissed her rosy little mouth hard. Taya, wait here for me. I'm going to the Supreme Kai world and will be back soon. Lewis put Ties down and then disappeared. Then come back soon. Tazy shouted at the air, then walked out of the palace helplessly. She didn't know what happened, but judging from Louis' anxious expression, there must be something urgent. I hope he can solve it smoothly. Chapter 39 Universe Shuttle Cube. Supreme Kai World. Green lawns, tall trees. The breeze blew and the leaves rustled. There were 3 people sitting under the big tree. Ah Sin, you understand the duties of the Supreme Kai, right? Grandfather, I understand. So are you still afraid of Majin Buu? No longer afraid. Ah Shin looked at the old Supreme Kai and chuckled. It turns out there are gods of destruction in the universe, so we don't have to be afraid of Majin Buu anymore. Sudden, with a swish sound, a figure appeared beside him. When Jebet, who was next to Ashen, saw this man, his neck shrank and his whole body couldn't help but tremble. Louis naturally saw Jebet, but he didn't have time to pay attention to this guy now. Old Supreme Kai, I have something urgent to discuss with you. Louis, why are you here? Old Supreme Kai was stunned. Louis briefly recounted the previous exchange, and finally mentioned Beerus's trip to the 4th universe. What? Quitella attacked you? Old Supreme Kai is furious. Shin was startled by the old Supreme Kai's loud voice, but couldn't help but worry when he heard that Louis had been attacked. Louis, you're not hurt. I'm fine. Louis looked at the old Supreme Kai and asked hurriedly, Old Supreme Kai, how can I get to the 4th universe? If I don't stop Master Beerus, I'm afraid something bad will happen. Don't worry, that skinny rib knows the consequences of fighting the gods of destruction. He's not that stupid. The old Supreme Kai gritted his teeth and said, that damn rat really went too far. Beerus did a great job this time. Old Supreme Kai, you can scold me later. Louis smiled bitterly, do you have a way to make me leave the 7th universe? Louis was really touched that both the old Supreme Kai and Beerus cared so much about him. For the first time, he felt a sense of belonging to the 7th universe. There are 2 ways to leave the 7th universe. The old Supreme Kai calmed down a bit. First, we must use our great power to break through the barriers of the universe. But to do this, you need to possess the power of the divine realm. You probably can't do it with your current strength. Second, use the universe to travel through the cubes. Universe Shuttle Cube. Louis and Asin were stunned. Soon, Louis thought of something and said, are you talking about the shuttle cube in Whis' hand? The old Supreme Kai looked at Louis with a strange expression, I didn't expect Whis to even tell you this. Yes, it's the teleporting cube. Louis smacked his lips. Actually, Whis had never told him about this. He was thinking of the anime from his previous life, where Whis used the universe shuttle cube to take everyone to the tournament of power. Old Supreme Kai, Whis is not here, and we don't have a shuttle cube. Louis shook his head. The old Supreme Kai raised his head proudly, did I say I didn't? You have. Louis was ecstatic, how come you have a universe shuttle cube? Why do you care so much? I have it, it's fine. Do you want it or not? Old Supreme Kai blushed. He has a time travel cube, which he actually asked Whis for in order to go to other universes to date girls. I want it, Old Supreme Kai, lend it to me. I'll give it to you right away. The old Supreme Kai waved his hand, and the other dimension was opened, and a purple cube flew out from it. Fortunately, you have broken through to the divine level. You can use the power of the gods to infuse the shuttle cube, so that you can exert the maximum speed of the shuttle cube. The old Supreme Kai paused and said, forget it, I'll go with you. This damn rat actually sneak attacked his universe's candidate gods of destruction. It makes people angry just thinking about it. He also wants to go there. He can't beat gods of destruction, but can't he beat Supreme Kai over there? It would be great if you could come along, too. Louis is still worried about breaking through the universe barrier, so how can he get to the 4th universe? With the old Supreme Kai following me, there's nothing to worry about. Axon, stay and watch the 7th universe. We'll be back soon. Yes. Ashen nodded. Soon, Louis and the old Supreme Kai rode the universe through the cube and disappeared into the Supreme Kai world. Inside the block, Louis was in a bit of a bad mood. The old Supreme Kai noticed his expression and said, don't worry too much, Louis. That skinny rib is smart. He won't do anything rash. Louis nodded. He was so anxious before that he forgot what kind of personality Beerus had. Beerus certainly won't be fooled so easily by Quitella. This wasn't the reason why he was upset. He remembered what he said to Tais before leaving the Gods of Destruction world. He said he would be back soon. Now, I don't know how long it will take to go to other universes. I hope it can be quick, otherwise Tazy will definitely be very worried. Prepare to pass through the barrier, be careful. The old Supreme Kai's voice reached his ears. Louis came back to his senses and looked ahead, only to see a film of light blocking the way. He increased the output of divine power. Swish! The universe shuttle cube turned into a purple light and instantly passed through the light film. Soon we arrived at a pitch-black space. Looking ahead, I saw 11 huge spheres floating in front of me. Louis looked back and found that the 7th universe was also a similar sphere. The 3rd sphere on the left is the 4th universe. Just move in that direction. Good. Ding, task released, please sign in at the 4th universe, reward, erasure, prototype. Closing square bracket. The universe shuttle cube suddenly stopped. Louis, what's wrong with you? No, I'm leaving now. Chapter 40 Sign in successfully, reward, erasure, prototype. The 4th universe. A ray of light shone through the barrier. Ding, check-in mission completed, reward, erasure, prototype. Buzz. Inside the cube, Louis's body shook, and a rule that erased everything grew in his body. The old Supreme Kai next to him collapsed to the ground in fear. Louis was stunned. Old Supreme Kai, what's wrong with you? The old Supreme Kai was trembling as he spoke. What was that aura you just had? If he sensed it correctly, there was a hint of erasing power emanating from Louis. Gurgle. The old Supreme Kai swallowed hard and erased his power, which was a move only Grand Priest and Zeno could use. Why this kid? I don't know either. Louis couldn't explain it, so he could only play dumb. The old Supreme Kai stood up tremblingly and stared at Louis, his eyes becoming more and more weird. Open black lens bracket, ignore close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, erase close black lens bracket. Perfect and free state. This kid. No wonder Whis said this guy is special, he has so many secrets. The old Supreme Kai thought again of the sacred aura Whis had talked about a few years ago. He was sure that it had something to do with the boy in front of him. Louis, you. Old Supreme Kai opened his mouth, but in the end he didn't ask anything. Louis was relieved when he saw that the old Supreme Kai didn't say anything. Fortunately, old Supreme Kai didn't ask any questions, otherwise it would be hard to explain. Old Supreme Kai, let's go find Master Beerus. Okay, Beerus should be in the Gods of Destruction realm in the 4th universe. The old Supreme Kai looked up. Whis. Crash. A holy light appears inside the block. Whis came here and was slightly stunned. Louis, didn't I tell you to go back to the Gods of Destruction world? Why are you here? Louis rolled his eyes. If I don't come, will Lord Beerus fight with Quitella? The old Supreme Kai asked. Whis, that skinny rib guy shouldn't have messed around, right? Louis held his breath, dreading the news of Beerus and Quitella fighting. Whis shook his head and smiled. Although Lord Beerus is usually arrogant, you are not unaware of his fear of death, old Supreme Kai. After hearing this, Beerus was afraid of death and sealed him for tens of millions of years. The old Supreme Kai couldn't help but twitch his lips slightly. So what is Lord Beerus doing now? Louis was confused. Wasn't Beerus here to help him? Haha, you'll know when you go to the Gods of Destruction realm in the 4th universe. Zeno Palace. Except for Konik and Whis, all the other angels gathered here. The 10th universe angel Kurz looked at the Grand Priest and said respectfully, Father, do you know about the 7th universe? Grand Priest looked at his children and smiled. What's wrong? Angel Vados from the 6th universe said, more than a decade ago, an extremely sacred aura appeared in the 7th universe. We went to the 7th universe a few days ago to investigate this matter. As a result, we found that the candidate Gods of Destruction of the 7th universe is very special. He has mastered the rules of destruction in more than 10 years. The 5th universe angel Kukator continued. In addition, he has also realized the realm of perfect freedom. The most important point. He can actually ignore any attack. As soon as these words came out, all the angels at the scene held their breath. The atmosphere was very solemn. Angels doubt Louis's identity. No matter how talented an ordinary person is, it is impossible for him to do this. You know, among the angels present, is there anyone who could realize the state of perfect freedom in just over 10 years when he was a child? This is impossible. Every angel has to go through many hardships before they can achieve success. If you insist on saying that he is gifted and has attained the state of perfect freedom, then that's fine. But that ignore cannot be explained by talent. So you want to know the identity of that Lewis? Grand Priest laughed. Kes frowned. Father, with that expression on your face, do you know his identity? The other angels looked closely at the Grand Priest. Grand Priest raised his hands, took 2 steps forward, and said with a sigh, in fact, when that sacred aura appeared more than 10 years ago, I also investigated this matter. Yes, that aura was emitted by the 7th universe's candidate gods of destruction. Wow! The angels were in an uproar and extremely shocked. That sacred aura swept across the entire Xeno universe and could be sensed in every corner. That breath was like the breath of the beginning of the world, pure and bright, sacred. In the eyes of the angels, only their father or Xeno can explode. Unexpectedly, it was the 7th universe's candidate gods of destruction that erupted. What you said about ignoring the attack, I have actually tried it myself. How's it going? The angels swallowed their saliva and clenched their fists, their palms full of sweat. They want to know the answer, but they already have the answer in their hearts. Grand Priest personally tried to test it more than 10 years ago. As a result, they led the alternate gods of destruction of this universe to compete with Lewis. This means that Lewis is fine. This means Lewis survived the Grand Priest's test. Don't you have the answer? Grand Priest said with a smile, yes, he survived my test. He can indeed ignore any attack. Boom. My heart was shocked. The angels were stunned. Even though they were mentally prepared, they were still shocked when they heard the Grand Priest's affirmative answer. Their father is the number 1 person after Xeno. Father, do you know his identity? Kes asked hurriedly. Yes, he can't be from the Dark Demon world, right? Asked Campbell. That young man doesn't have any dark aura, so he can't be from the Dark Demon realm. Yes, if he really was from the Dark Demon realm, Whis would have discovered it and would not have accepted him as a candidate gods of destruction. The angels were talking to each other. All right. Grand Priest waved his hand. Actually, I have some guesses. I have also tried to sound out Master Xeno. The Grand Priest was silent and said nothing more. But the expression of Grand Priest told the angels that their father might have guessed Lewis's identity, and it was related to Master Xeno. The angels looked at each other, and saw shock in each other's eyes. No matter what he does, don't bother with it. Grand Priest looked at the angels and said solemnly, did you hear what I said clearly? The angels' hearts tightened and they quickly responded, yes. Sudden, a faint breath of erasure came from the 4th universe. The other angels didn't react. But Kes' pupils shrank sharply. She turned her head to look deep into the Xeno palace, then looked at her father. Father. Okay, leave it alone. At this time, Grand Priest looked in the direction of the 4th universe, with a slight smile on his face. The other angels were confused. What happened to their eldest sister and father? Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories, and never miss out on a great listen.